Starting. Okay, and we are live. Hello, everyone. It is I, Billy, and I am here with Ricardo and a new guest, Pawn Star Gaming. Is that how you pronounce it?
Pawn Story Games.
Oh, Pawn Story
Yes.
Games. Yeah.
Hello.
Good day.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking a bit about Jurassic World 2. I'm not sure if either of you two saw it.
Don't care.
No, I haven't seen it, and I guess I don't care either.
Yeah, from what I heard, it's one of those films where basically it's very poorly like written and put together. Like it's almost like the writers essentially typed in Jurassic Park into TV tropes to look up all the themes and tropes that were in the original film, and just like barely skimmed over it and like wrote the entire script on what they skimmed over. It's like literally the film is essentially relying on your nostalgia and love of Jurassic Park to accept this film, despite the fact that it's so poorly written.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically the main crutch of the film is essentially the bad guys want to auction off the dinosaurs to potentially use them in the military, which is stupid in itself because number one, why do you have to get them at an auction when the park was like closed for over 3 years when you could have just gone on and captured dinosaurs for free? And the concept of using dinosaurs in warfare is stupid when we have technology.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, it's like
Fucking let
what.
loose a dinosaur in Iraq or some shit. Like the
Yeah, it's like what
dudes
Mahler
that
said.
there.
Dinosaurs would be shit in a war. That's basically the slogan of his review of Jurassic World 2.
Slap a fucking laser on it.
Yeah, it's like the only viable dinosaur that could potentially be good would be like a velociraptor, just because they hunt in packs and they're stealthy, but
Man,
still a
fucking thing
long
would get
shot.
full after it killed a couple people.
Wait, what?
It would just like kill somebody, eat them, get full, and then fuck off.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why in the movie, they kind of genetically grow a special raptor that will follow human orders.
Yeah, blue or whatever.
Yeah, well, Blue's not well, there's another dinosaur that's basically been that's been like artificially grown. That's like a combination of multiple dinosaurs. So it's like a dinosaur that's been even more genetically experimented on.
So that was like the fucking whatever the hell from the last movie they had. I guess.
Yeah, the Indominus Rex, and this is called the Indoraptor. So it's like a raptor version of the Indominus
Rex.
Rex.
At least, did you watch it?
I actually did not watch it. I just watched someone's summary of it, which was pretty funny.
I was just wondering if it had a I watched Sargon's review. He said it looked really cool. Like dinosaurs looked really cool. So I don't know. Could be worth watching. Just for the visual effects and everything else.
Yeah, I think the visual effects are the only thing really going for it. And what was another thing? Well, it was also weird just how basically the characters get betrayed by the bad guys of the film who are kind of playing along with them. But the thing is, the reason for the betrayal is just really dumb because basically they try to capture the raptors and one of the guys shoots the raptor with a tranquilizer, and it doesn't take the raptor down. The raptor jumps on him and he shoots the raptor so his face doesn't get cut off, like ripped off and stuff. And then like the main character, Chris Pratt's character, basically charges him and tries to take him down, and the guy just defends himself and shoots him with a tranquilizer. And then suddenly there's like that's the betrayal apparently, despite the fact that every action that they took was logical. Yeah, it's almost ridiculous. It's like the film was poorly edited. Like if they had shown the scene where you find out that they're planning to auction off the dinosaurs before the betrayal, it makes more sense. When it's like after that whole betrayal scene, it just like seems just so ridiculous. Like everyone's jumped to conclusion, like there's a missing scene somewhere in the film.
Mm-hmm. But do you not get the same feeling with every movie you watch? This is how I feel, but I always get the feeling I'm dealing with the stupidest people that have ever lived. Not just bad writers. I would just say they have no interest, no understanding, just no calling to be in the entertainment industry or or in anything regarding stories, because they have no vision for a story. They're just wasting their time.
Oh my
So
God.
to even name some some part of it where I go, oh no, that doesn't make sense. That's silly to me because none of it makes sense. None of it's good, and it ought to. These people have hundreds of millions of dollars. They can make anything in their imagination, and their imagination is always non-existent.
So you
Like
believe in the
no, but to that point, like when was the last time you actually saw a movie where you didn't fucking sigh at least 5 times because of how ridiculous it is? And like I can't remember the last movie I sat down when it was like, oh wow, this is actually good and it makes total sense. And the characters are behaving like normal, rational humans. I don't think
well, would
I
you
can name one.
well, would you guys agree? Like, would you guys both believe in the theory that it's mainly because Hollywood hires almost the same group of people to write their films?
No, I would not.
Like
Not
even I'm thinking back, like you look at a movie like Aliens or fucking even like Predator, like from way back in the day, you know, like they were kind of ridiculous, but they had some sort of like sensibility to it. I don't know.
yeah.
Like you
Oh,
could
how's it
almost
going, Rex?
It's going good.
That's good.
you could
I
picture.
don't know what you guys are talking about, but I agree partially.
Oh, we were talking about movies on how a lot of movies all feel the same, and the quality has gone down very poorly over the years.
Yes.
That goes for television as well.
Oh yeah, especially television.
All cookie cutter. Everything's all cookie cutter. Do we got the POC check? Do we got the virtue signal
How
check?
many lesbians do we have?
Yeah.
You need
But-
a lesbian for every person that has a speaking role.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important.
So, like, what's your opinions on like streaming services, Pawn Star,
As you can just call me Pawn.
Pawn? Okay, Pawn.
But what do I think about streaming services, as in the content they deliver, the movies and TV shows?
Yeah, TV shows like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon, like all those new shows that have been premiering on those platforms.
Well, I don't watch them. I have not gone out and watched a movie or a TV show voluntarily in years. I'm just not entertained by any of it. I think a fundamental part of being impressed by anything is being surprised by it. And that's why people's interest in entertainment of any movie or anything in general, it wanes. It decreases over time with the more familiarity they attain with that thing. And so, since I'm not surprised by what I see anymore, I don't think I can be impressed by. I can't be entertained, and I don't think anybody is really entertained. I think people force themselves, or they convince themselves, I'm supposed to be entertained because they spent millions of dollars on it, and it's in the theater, and I want to have fun. And I think what they do end up enjoying is more the experience of watching some visuals or being with friends, and not so much the story itself.
Well, a
It's
lot
just
of
like my dog looking at the TV, you know, he sees all the flashing lights, and the dog is like, "Oh wow, this is so cool." He doesn't know what the fuck's going on, and he doesn't care, but he still sits there staring at the TV blindly.
Well, I always thought that with a lot of people see films today because I don't know, sometimes it's like they want to relive something that they experienced as kids because it gives off that good feeling, like
Sure,
it's
there's
fun.
nostalgia.
Yeah, and so like it's fun to watch a Disney and Pixar film because I grew up on those, and it kind of leaves you with a good feeling. So it just kind of reminds you of the good times or the simpler times. Like
those are of a higher quality, though. I'd have to say.
And so you don't really find like the Pixar films interesting?
Well, since people, when they criticize movies, they mostly like to talk about coherence and the contradictions in characters' actions and motives. I think it's just mandatory that I say I am capable of dismantling any movie the same way I did with Force Awakens and Rogue One, including Pixar, including the original Star Wars movies, including the original Jurassic Park. Every single movie is completely incoherent. And I think it's important to say that's not why it's worthless in my eyes. It's worthless because it's not meaningful, because I didn't care about the transformations of the characters. I didn't care about the conclusions they came to. I didn't care about any of their worldviews or their dogmas or their beliefs. It was all boring, meaningless to me. That's why it's worthless. The most important part of any piece of entertainment is that you care about it first. If you don't care about it, who cares if it's incoherent or or anything after that? I just have to care first. I'd rather hate it than not care, because hating is at least caring, and I just I don't care.
So wait, what types of entertainment do you exactly like that gives you what you want?
Well, none that currently exist. The more time that goes by, the less I'm even able to stand watching something, or even give it even the time of day.
What do you do? Build ice sculptures in your spare time?
Yeah, I just make those ice sculptures. They're the greatest.
So would you say you're kind of a nihilist when it comes to entertainment?
No, I would be nihilistic. Instead, I am the most arrogant person in the universe, because that's the only conclusion to make if someone believes what I believe. So I've held off until now. You're Billy, Billy in my Discord server, right? So you've already heard some of the things I believe.
Yeah, Billy the Conqueror. Yeah. So
Billy, the only way I could possibly have this view of other movies and say that they're completely worthless and that I can't enjoy them a bit is if I found something better. So I actually am entertained. I am more entertained than anybody else in the world. I am very happy, very satisfied. And it is because I have learned how to make stories that are entertaining. So that's how I'm satisfied. But now I sound arrogant, you see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so like something like, so do we you're not even entertained by like a lot of books then?
By what?
Books, novels.
No, I'm not, because the imitations of stories in novels are the same imitations of stories in TV and movies.
So you don't like it that like novels borrow from like, myths and fairy tales in classical literature?
Sure. They do.
Oh, but you don't like that?
No, I don't. And liking something, I can't even help what I like or dislike. Nobody can. Even if they say, "Oh, I like it," they don't really. To really love something. And let's just be honest, guys, there's love, that's a real hatred, or that's a real emotion. There's love and there's hatred. They're opposites. Emotions are inherently intense. I don't believe that it's possible to like something, and I can't help what I love. So no, I have to say I don't love those stories. I don't find myself loving them. I don't watch them and go, "Oh my goodness," and just start, just going crazy and raving over it. I watch it and I go,
So what? Do you ever laugh at anything?
Yes, I laugh at things, but I think maybe I laugh.
What would you watch, for example, that would have you laughing?
I don't watch anything. I don't watch any movies or TV.
What do you just like?
I can laugh at a meme I see on YouTube or something. It's not a big laugh though. It's a snicker. It's haha. Okay, somebody's being silly. I'm silly. I've got a witty little personality. I can do voice imitations. I can do acting and that kind of thing. That's silly and fun, but that's not fulfilling type. I'm talking, I want genuine, deep emotions. Those are the things that I really care about and that really entertain me. I don't really like that term entertainment. It sounds so weak and empty. I don't just want to be entertained. I want to have my mind blown. I want to come out of something really thinking about it and obsessing over it and saying that really was profound. And
you got your expectations way too high up if you expect that from every single thing that you go to try and experience.
No, I don't expect. That's why I don't watch them.
That just sounds like you're trying to limit yourself with way too high of expectations.
Well, let me ask you a question. Is that you, Rex, saying that?
Yeah, that is in fact me.
Very nice, Rex. Rex, I want you to imagine a situation where, say, you go and watch Star Wars. Okay, now you watch Star Wars, you like Star Wars, you're satisfied by Star Wars, you love it. Okay, and now imagine that somebody comes along and they say, "But Rex, why can't you just enjoy what's that? Flash Gordon. Why can't you enjoy Flash Gordon?" And you say, "Well, I'm satisfied by Star Wars. I don't need Flash Gordon." And they say, "But come on, you've got your expectations too high." And you're like, "What are you talking about? I like Star Wars. Why shouldn't I enjoy Star Wars? I'm satisfied by it." And they're like, "But Flash Gordon." That's what I'm saying. to you. I'm saying I'm
if-
satisfied by my own stories. It's not that I need anything else anymore. It's not that I'm demanding it even.
well,
I'm
that
totally
would that entirely depends on what your requirements for the film are. If I don't like Flash Gordon because I don't like the premise or the story, that's different than just saying like I only want to experience things that completely blow me away.
Well, like I said, I think it's only possible to be blown away by something if it's new. And I think that's easy to prove too. When has anyone ever been blown away, mind blown, where they go, "Oh my goodness, that was amazing"? If it's something they've
Well,
already
I
seen.
mean, I would argue that the first Star Wars movie did blow people away because no one had ever seen space battles or
There you
space
go.
travel like
I
Star Wars
agree.
would. And then, I mean, Jurassic Park also blew people away because before then, every single dinosaur film had them either be claymation, stop motion, or guys in suits. Whereas this was actually like a CG, like actual CG dinosaurs. So, like, I can only imagine that in the theaters when people saw like that Brachiosaurus first come into the screen, that probably was a pretty amazing sight to see.
No doubt, and that's one of the big ones. But see, this is a big problem I have with movies that are popular. Most of them are popular for every reason except because the story was mind-blowing in itself. It's either about special effects, like Star Wars or Jurassic Park, or Alien. Somebody brought that up. Alien doesn't have a compelling story. That movie isn't going to bring you to tears or anything. Every single character in that movie is an empty, expendable nothing. That's what each character is.
What about what about The Godfather?
I was going to bring that up. That's a perfect example too. People want to talk about acting. Whenever somebody says The Godfather is amazing, or when any movie is Oscar worthy, they're always talking about acting. It was very realistic, they say. But who cares? I think realism or acting that portrays a character in a way that seems real to me, that's the most basic thing I could possibly ask for. And if somebody fails to do that, they aren't the biggest failure in the world. They're just not even trying. I think that's all it takes with acting is for somebody to have a vision and then do their best to portray that, to translate and communicate the ideas of the story. But what I get when I watch Godfather is people saying lines, and I get this with all movies, not just The Godfather. But they're saying lines, but the lines and the words aren't describing any story concepts. Everything they're saying is very empty. It's stuff I've seen 1,000 times. Even if nobody had ever made a mob movie before The Godfather, and they had, there are many, many like it, and many more since then. Even if they hadn't, you still just have the basic mob story that's been going on for many years. And all they did was just retell little snippets of it, and they said, "Isn't this great?" And my answer was, "Snore."
So basically, so what you're kind of saying is like, I mean, you're familiar with Joseph Campbell's Hero with a Thousand Faces.
Yes, I am.
So for you, in that story, they kind of say that by having everything be connected to each other, that's one of the reasons why we enjoy it so much. But for you, that's kind of the exact opposite because you realize that almost everything's kind of connected when it comes to stories, but you find that's just not as thrilling or kind of makes it hard for you to be entertained by them.
Do you mean connected as in they all have similar themes?
Yeah, like as in like like you have the hero myth, which has been told throughout cultures for like about millennia.
Right.
So for you in that instance, that kind of makes it hard for you to enjoy those things because
Right.
it's a retelling.
Well, right. And I don't do it cerebrally. I can explain stuff, like right now I can explain problems with things, but ultimately it all just comes down to me already having found the true substance of a story that is entertaining to me. So when I hear other people say, "Hey, we got a story. Look, there's the Godfather and he's talking about an offer he's going to give." And I'm like, "Yeah, but where's the story?" Okay, there is nothing there. It is so simple. I can sum up The Godfather so quickly and so easily because it is so simple. For something to be, a real story is complex. It has many different elements. It's not just a very simple premise, and now you're just watching people with their bodies walking across a landscape and doing practical things
But
like fighting and traveling.
You gotta understand that they gotta simplify things for the masses, right? If they made all these complex and I don't know, quote unquote interestingly themed stories, the fucking normies aren't gonna watch it. The masses aren't gonna be able to understand it, and I'm never gonna turn a profit.
Well, unfortunately, nobody has made a movie that was made up of pure story material, so you can't really prove whether what I'm suggesting would be effective. You have to see it first. But I can prove to you that you're wrong, though. Despite nobody having made a pure story, people still incorporate little suggestions of a story. And that's easy to prove with Star Wars itself, because Star Wars, the best part of Star Wars, which everyone agrees is the best part. It's the big plot twist. It's Luke finding out that Darth Vader is his father, and that's real story material. That's real character development. I can explain why if you ever want to have that conversation. But if a story was made up of that material through and through, and no waiting, all right, we've established something. Now we're going to wait for somebody to travel to a destination, or wait for some little fight to unfold, or wait for somebody to use the bathroom or finish their meal, or some non-story event. Then yes, people would love it to death, just like they love that twist in Star Wars.
Okay, so you're also not a fan of horror films, right?
No, I'm not a fan of any movie ever made. I see them all as being equal in quality.
Dude, you are never going to be happy.
What's your take on anime titties?
Perfect response.
Every anime,
those titties they're all the same. I don't need them.
Any anime that anybody's ever suggested to me, I went and watched some episodes of it, and it's the same stuff. Anime isn't revolutionary. If anime represented real stories, then anime would have taken over the world by now.
Okay, we get it. You're not happy about anything.
But I am. I already told you. I got my own stories.
It sounds like you have like 2 different books, and then you read them in a loop, and then you sit in a room apparently, and you do voice impressions of yourself, and you're just mad.
No, I'm very happy.
All right, now second, I just got a really funny tweet reply. I want to know your how I should respond to this in the nicest yet meanest way.
What a gif.
What is the tweet?
Essentially, I was explaining to somebody what a checkbox character was, and they don't seem to understand. And somebody was telling me that we can't know if it's malicious just because they didn't hire a white male and it doesn't fit what I want. And I haven't gotten one of these like super cringe replies in a while from one of these white guys who seem to hate other white guys. So they had a checkbox character, and like I was talking about checkbox characters, and I used Rey as an example. That she's a generic female character, and there's nothing beyond. She's a powerful female Jedi. That's it. There's nothing beyond her character for that.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, she's a checkbox character because she's essentially a diversity character, and you want to know how to respond to someone like being pro that.
Some dude was pretty much telling me how we can't know if it's malicious or not, and just because they didn't hire another white male. And I want to know the meanest yet most polite way to respond to that.
Anyway, how do they think? Well, the question is. So I guess I'm confused by the tweet. Is they thought it was malicious about checkbox characters?
Why don't you post the end of the tweet, the characters for the tweet in the chat or something?
I'll take a screenshot.
Yeah,
for you.
Because I'm just a little confused.
So trying to word it properly. Let me show you.
It should be a little screen share.
I'm a pretty big Twitter troll.
Where do I go to screen share for you?
It's on the side. It's like that green. It's that green TV screen icon.
I'm hopping on.
Okay.
Two avatars up.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Let's see. It's the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of best response?
Oh, you're fucking Rex. I've been talking to you all day.
You don't know that. I could be anybody.
She said that also characters exist because there isn't a character like it, and end up being good. Whether you like Rey or not is one thing, but we can't just assume that because someone who isn't a white male is hired is malicious. So basically, they're saying is that the person was under your impression that you thought because they had her as a main character, you thought them having her was like malicious.
Yeah, apparently only. And if you don't like a character that isn't a white male, you must be a bad guy.
Well, do you like Blade?
But like Blade.
Yeah,
You know, I
Blade.
only watched one of the Blade movies.
Oh,
I
Like
think,
Ripley from Alien, Sarah
Eh.
Connor from Terminator.
you know who I really like is Static Shock.
okay. And then yeah, simple. You respond by basically like posting a GIF or pic that your favorite superhero is Static Shock, or you love Static Shock. You know.
I do like
Somebody with
Static
some depth.
Shock. Let me figure out how to exit out of the screen sharing.
Personality.
You just click the button, stop share.
Wow, you're like a wizard.
Well, who?
You're impressive.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just gonna have to deal with lots of people who are just going to like make comments like that, where they're just gonna assume that you don't like her because such and such identity.
Well, fucking Unranked Chevron did a whole video about that. So the white men hate all women and everything. It's like, no, not really. Just
Wait. Who was saying this?
Unranked Chevron. He's on Twitter. He's got a YouTube.
I know I've heard of him. Like, wait, so you're saying he was virtue signaling?
No, he made a video of just addressing the fact that people think white men hate all women and everything. And it's like, no, it's just 90% of the time you guys are just doing it wrong.
Okay, yeah.
You better call up my
Can't
dad
have
and tell him
this-
he's fucking up.
Well,
Shouldn't be marrying you.
these are the same people who thought who thought like Black Panther was like the first black superhero, or like he's like the most important movie in like the last century and stuff.
That was like when those were so stupid. Man,
I know,
the movie
oh
made
my
by
God.
Jews.
You fucking guys see this J. Scott Campbell shit on Twitter? I think Rax was probably tweeting a bit with me. No?
Was it me?
What was it? What happened?
J. Scott Campbell did a Tiger Lily picture. In
Oh, that thing.
Oh yeah, you saw. Wait, did you see my? Did you see? I saw that. Like, what's her name? Hazel or whatever her name is was like complaining, talking about how like she thought like he was like a pedo or something like that to like draw like
he's a racist pedophile.
Yeah, did you see my? Did you see my reply to her?
No,
I didn't.
Oh, okay. Let me go.
Funny is, clearly the character he drew is not 12. I will challenge somebody to find a 12-year-old that looks like that. And I'm more concerned that somebody would ever look at that character that he drew and be like, she's 12 years old. I don't know what 12-year-olds are looking at.
This motherfucker blocked me.
Up anyway. Well, who?
Fuck! I had this whole big thread going off on this guy, and he just ended up blocking me. I guess I could go incognito and show you guys.
Oh yeah, let me show you mine. Okay. Oh, where's it? Okay, so this is a tweet I did. You remember that? Oh, you see it, Ricardo?
What the fuck?
Well, nobody wants to see that. You're gonna get demonetized.
Yeah, I could get demonetized. But like,
are you monetized?
No.
I was gonna be really impressed.
but that's the thing is that I responded to that. That was my reply to her because she was basically accusing him of being like a pedo and a racist, and it's like, yeah, because sexualizing a fictional character is way worse than actually sexualizing like real kids, at pride parades.
That was rude.
Hashtag leftists.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, someone tried to respond saying, making an equivalency is not like an argument. It's like, yeah, my whole point was to show that she was a hypocrite.
Yeah, but there's always a gap between fictional and realistic that people seem
that's all I'm saying.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, these people think that like, oh, fiction is so terrible, but real life it's perfectly fine for kids to basically be groomed and stuff by like these sickos.
Let's check this out.
What, did you find it, Ricardo?
Yeah, so
okay, that's a lot of tweets.
So basically, this SJW here, I came to stand up for Native women. We're having to fight all of the Campbell stands, giving them shit for wanting to be respected.
Okay.
And I'm just like, point out a single instance of someone disrespecting them individually. Just one. And then she just goes on the normal. Oh, here's an example of you. It's like, no, these fucking people just are insane. And this motherfucker here just jumps in. You and your buddies are jokes. And then, yeah, this is how you just troll somebody. And then just like, blocking me.
That's pretty funny.
I thought it was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, it's like, wait a minute, I thought people were complaining about how, I don't know, like how what is it, Eurocentric beauty is? I mean, don't they want non-whites to be viewed as beautiful? I thought that was an end goal.
They don't have a goal.
I know, it's like, first they complain about like white women being the beauty standard, and then they complain when guys like draw sexual characters of non-whites.
They're mad at everything. Nothing will make them happy.
I mean, let's be real.
Did you get your daily dose of outrage today?
Well, let's be real. The tiger lily in the Peter Pan film was like bright red. At least that tiger lily actually has a natural skin tone. I mean, you guys seen Peter Pan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you know how red the Native Americans.
The fucking picture is like an adult version or an adult depiction of like Tiger Lily from Peter Pan. There's like absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and even then, I think it was Gual who said that. When it comes to fictional characters, apparently it doesn't count or something like that. There's like a loophole.
What? Sorry, it doesn't count.
Like what? If you have it's like how the Japanese have lolicon and stuff, or because it's a loophole because they're fictional, they can get away with it.
You're not objectifying the individual. If you got like child porn, that's like a picture of a actual child.
Yeah.
Let's say if you got like a fucking loli, it's a fucking picture that some pervert drew in his fucking basement, you know? There's no victim there. Who's the victim? The fucking pencil that had to draw that shit? I don't know. Point me to a victim and I'll say, yeah, okay, let's fucking do something about it. If there's no victim, then who fucking cares? Take false outrage.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so how was your guys' week then?
It's good. I might go watch that new Incredibles movie.
My week's been great. But I'm not watching The Incredibles.
I know you don't like things.
What about you, Ricardo?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. It's, I went hunting for Cyberfrog today. No luck.
You went hunting for Cyberfrog?
Yeah, I went to the comic shops. I don't know. I checked the garage sale.
Someone made a comment saying Cyberfrog must cross over Jawbreakers or GTFO or something like that.
Well, Cyberfrog's too strong.
Yeah, I felt tempted to say, why would Ethan cross Cyberfrog over with Jawbreakers? That's like having Alan Moore's Watchmen cross over with Rob Liefeld's Extremers or whatever you want to call that team that you made and stuff. I was gonna basically roast Jawbreakers, throw shades at Jawbreakers. But
if they did a little two-page joke comic, I could see, it'd be kind
of. I mean, I was thinking about making a joke where I was just roasting Jawbreakers and just, making a gag saying that the artwork wasn't as good as Cyberfrog. So
I don't know. Malon's pretty good. I don't think he's as good as EBS though.
Yeah, but I would say it was a joke and stuff, just to make a joke saying, because people were joking about how Jawbreakers looks like Rob Liefeld 2.0 in terms of the art style. Sometimes it's like a slightly better Rob Liefeld.
So Rob Liefeld wasn't horrible.
He wasn't.
like
I mean, he wasn't horrible. He's
that
just
an
he's
insult?
kind of like the punching bag when it comes to artists in comic books.
Cruelty.
I mean,
I
you know
don't
how much
know.
hate he gets, right?
Man, you guys fucking see like the new Squirrel Girls? Fucking Rob Liefeld's fucking great compared to fucking shit we got in 2018.
So, are you saying you'd like, the huge chested Captain America?
Shit, I'll take it.
So masculine. Is he a Nazi? Will he be a Nazi in this incarnation?
Dude,
Hopefully.
I'd be perfectly fine writing Captain America if they gave me. Well, again, I'm black, so they'll probably give me the job immediately and stuff. They'll
So
probably
now
let me
I'm
say, pick a character.
hang on. You're black. So now I'm wondering if that's a voice change or your normal voice.
Yeah, I am voice changing my normal voice.
You could have told me this was your normal voice. I would have believed you.
Oh, really? It seems like this voice is a little fake, so I don't think it would be my. It seems unrealistic.
I've met people with deeper voices. They were very impressive.
Okay.
Usually doesn't start off with the voice changer.
I do voice changer for like my non-stream videos, and I switch back and forth depending on which stream. Where I'll use it, I won't use it, but I mainly just use it when I'm making like a serious video, just because I don't really like the sound of my voice in a serious video compared to like in a stream where things are just being funny and stuff.
I believe in you.
Okay. Yeah,
I
so
don't
this
even fucking notice.
well, anyway, this week was like the last stream for now, just because I'm going to be moving next week. I'm not sure what my schedule's like afterwards, so this is kind of like the series finale for this. So
I'll be at your funeral.
yeah, but anyway, I'll probably start streaming again soon. It's just like I'm just not sure at the date, and then next week is also the last time I go by my comic book shop before I close my account and move down to Portland, where they have several comic book shops there.
Portland. You won't be far from me, but good luck.
Wait, what? Well, Portland has just almost about the same amount of social justice warriors, almost, but I mean, Portland's also a little cheaper, and they don't have like a sales tax.
That's so nice.
It's for the Portland comics mafias. Be careful.
But that is also wait. I think Gail Simone lives in Portland, or she lives somewhere in the Pacific Northwest because she goes to Emerald City Comic Con.
Gail Simone. Eh?
Yeah, I saw her one
reading,
time at Emerald City Comic Con. Like I tweeted Captain Cummings, wondering, "Hey, should I say something and stuff?" And I felt timid to go get her autograph to like have her write sign a comic book saying to my dear friend Captain Cummings.
Gail Simone is she confused the hell out of me.
She's like Anita Sarkeesian, basically, where it's like she.
Have you read that new Domino or Plastic Man? Fire?
I'm reading Domino right now.
What was it good or bad?
In the new Domino, they pretty much just she just has some really ripped buff dude just walk around with no shirt on and treat him like he's a piece of meat.
Yeah, at the end of the
Only
issue,
it's reversed.
It's the what's his fucking kung fu name?
Hong Kong Fooey.
Hong Kong. Oh, you talking about the wait? Were you talking about the crossover? Or are you talking about?
No, the fucking kung fu guy from fucking Marvel.
Oh, you mean Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Iron Fist?
No, Shang-Chi's at the end. Shirtless, and Domino's drooling over him.
Okay, yeah. Well, reverse the other way, and people complain constantly about that. But I mean, so it wasn't that good then, you're saying?
The issue was pretty good, actually.
Okay, and Plastic Man, how was that? Boy, did you read it, Rex?
What? Which one? Plastic Man?
Plastic Man?
I did. It wasn't that bad.
Well,
got that picture up.
The one from Domino.
That's Shang-Chi. Yeah, he looks just like Bruce Lee basically now. He doesn't look like old Shang-Chi.
Right.
You're not gonna put your shirt on, are you? Fucking.
Yeah, it's like
Sexualizing men is okay though.
Yeah, it's
We
like
don't-
you're
we
not
don't
going to put your bra on. You're not going to put your bra on, right? You know. But yeah, it's just like the thing is with Gail Simone is just that like basically she got into comic books complaining about how like misogynistic they are, and all of her claims were essentially like debunked and like total bullshit. It's just so annoying and ridiculous.
Well, feminism will do that to you.
I know, and it's like it's like it's like intellectually dishonest to make all these claims and then you just get into an industry like on these bases. Like that's the reason why people say she scammed her way into the industry.
Gail
I don't
Simone.
know. Was there earlier stuff any good? The Domino stuff is like
She has some good runs. Like she's not great like Mark Waid or like like Mark Waid or Grant Morrison, but like she's good. It's just that she lets her politics like go front and center, where it's kind of like people treat her like because she's like one of the few female creators, people have to support her and like her books.
I don't know.
So who read Plastic Man? You want to give us a
I did.
rundown on that?
I did. I read it.
And
It wasn't that bad. There was
must
a
have been
little
some
bit of cringe. There was only a little bit of cringe.
I seen there was like a stripper Batman or some shit.
So that was I guess he lives on the floor of a strip club. I mean, I didn't really cringe. That was just he apparently lives above a strip club, and there were a bunch of chick and dude strippers there. So I don't really mind. It wasn't like he lives above an all dude strip club. Then I would have felt real bad for him. There were a bunch of chicks there too. He actually
like Catwoman.
he actually he de-aggroed some chick that broke into his room because she saw his six-pack and dong, and I was very impressed. Apparently, it's very weird, but at least Gail Simone doesn't make all the characters gay.
Yeah, I seen a preview, and in the preview it was like I don't know 3 pages, and it had like only 2 panels of Plastic Man in it. So how's that in the?
No, he's in there the whole time.
Oh, nice.
I mean, there was a little bit of cringe. There's some part where he turns into Wonder Woman to coax some guy because he said that he was afraid of women, and it was typical. And I was like, oh, come on. Stop.
This is Wonder Woman.
And he turned into like a Wonder Woman.
Yeah, the thing about Gail. I mean, I guess you could say Gail Simone. I mean, it's a little different, I guess, but it's almost kind of like a bit like with like J.K. Rowling right now, where it's like she's a good writer. It's just she lets all this political nonsense kind of like come front and center, which damages your work and stuff. Because it's like the whole Harry Potter controversy where they decided they were going to like blackwash Hermione, despite the fact it's kind of been proven that she isn't like she's basically white, even in the book.
Wait. When did they blackwash her?
That whole cursed child thing, the Harry Potter play that was going around, and
I don't
like,
remember
people,
that. They made it
you remember
black.
that one? People were getting. I mean, even Sargon made a video about it, where basically, like they decided to cast Hermione as a black woman, and people, there were people who complained about saying that it was basically, diversity changing a character, and then like J.K. Rowling responded saying no one ever, like her race was never mentioned in the books, despite the fact there are sentences in the book that basically describe her as having white skin.
Make her black so then you can have her and Ron's kids be a black ginger.
Well, in the play, like in the basically sequel play that's like takes place after the 7th book, they do have kids actually, and they basically cast the other kids as black.
Yes, black ginger.
Yeah, and then it's
prophecy foretold.
The play itself is not very good. It's basically like Harry Potter mixed with time travel and like alternate timelines. It's pretty bad.
How the fuck do they cast black gingers?
Well, her daughter's basically looks almost a lot like her, so she has no red hair.
I'm looking up a black ginger, see if they exist.
I don't know.
I think they do exist.
Sounds sketchy.
Whoa. Black ginger. Oh my god, they're scary.
I'll Google search a black ginger.
Yeah.
These have to be fictional. When they just
What? What's going on?
I
What,
got
black
fucking an Asian. You guys want to? I'll screen share. It's
Okay,
fucking
guys, I'll go. Let me
hilarious.
go. I'll go.
This.
Wait, that's an Asian ginger.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
keep
those are
looking.
black
Look for the black
gingers.
ginger. The black ginger is what we need right now. That's what America really needs. How more diverse can you get than a black ginger?
Wait.
God.
Gingers. Wait. So wait, gingers have no souls apparently. So like, what? Black gingers like.
You wouldn't be able to play a lot of art, a lot of soul music. Clearly,
Yeah, it's like, damn,
because
you've
he's
been
black.
exiled from soul music.
How unfortunate.
But I mean, nowadays that doesn't really matter anymore. Everyone's into rapid hip hop.
Well, that's dangerous music.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably very easy to become a blood. Get into the bloods.
I don't know about that.
All right.
The
I'm gonna
Bloods,
take
you
the
know, the
dog
gang,
out, grab
the
a
Crips
smoke.
and
I'll
the-
be back in a bit.
Whoa! No, tell that dog to go walk himself.
Tell that dog to check its privilege.
Yeah, tell the dog
Talk
checks
about
privilege.
fucking-
He's
Talk
like
about
the dog.
privilege.
The dog's like that guy's like the dog is like white and part black and stuff. Like the whiteness
true.
in him is like oppressing the small black parts of
I
him.
agree.
He's,
Actually, the dog is. If you look down below the fur, the dogs are blue. So
I mean, technically, dogs are more privileged than people. I mean, dogs have homes, people feed them. They just have to listen to what you say and do like tricks and just eat and not piss everywhere and stuff, and they have a good life. Whereas us humans have to like work and all stuff. Again, dogs are so
Whoa,
privileged.
you trying to normalize furries?
Furries are basically human beings who can't handle who can't handle the strenuous life of a human being.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Trying to make it.
But apparently furries are like they're like Nazi furries, so it's like furries belong on the far right now.
Damn Nazi furries.
Yeah, the Nazi anime characters. Like, if someone needs to get ballsy and makes like a Nazi anime where all the characters are. Oh, there is, or yeah, it's like yeah. Just think of it, it's like what's the word?
It's called the Saga of Tanya the Evil. The main character is a lowly Nazi.
Oh man, I gotta check that out. I just thought that would be fucking hilarious. Just to, like have like a I don't know. I wouldn't call a magical girl like a tank girl or war girl anime where they're all Nazis and stuff.
I'm telling you, there is. Hang on.
I know that would trigger so many people.
Look.
Let's see.
She's a Nazi.
Okay, so she's the main character of the series.
Yeah, she's a Nazi.
So who are the bad guys?
Everybody that isn't a Nazi.
See, that's all about Japan. Is Japan like they just don't give a fuck who they're going to offend next?
She will be Hitler one day. Look at those blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yeah.
It's the cutest Nazi you've ever
So she'll
seen.
be like the one up from Hitler because Hitler had neither.
Yeah, war is fun.
War is fun.
That's what she says. She says war is
Well,
fun.
war is fun when you're the one who isn't getting blown to pieces.
I mean, as long as you're the one winning.
Yeah. So like which company or which magazine produced made this anime?
I don't know. Let me check.
Was it Shonen or someone else?
I don't think this is shonen.
Yeah, probably too offensive for Shonen.
Let me check. Let me check the checking.
It's kind of interesting that they were able to do this because it seems like since they were once allies with the Axis, they this would be very taboo for them to do this, but I guess they still don't care.
I don't know. It's some weird brand I've never heard of.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I guess there are a couple of new brands that have been coming out recently, isn't it right?
Would you say brands? This isn't a magazine?
I'm sorry, like magazines, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't noticed any.
So is My Hero Academia shonen?
Yes.
Okay. So what's the next? What's the next shonen series coming out?
I haven't seen anything new recently. Usually you gotta wait till about 4 months in, because otherwise they might get canceled.
They need to do like wizard. They need to do like wizards in like a shonen series. I mean, I know there's Fairy Tale, but I don't think
there's also Black Clover.
Was that shonen?
Yeah, it's in Weekly Shonen Jump.
Oh, I didn't know that was shonen. I thought it was something else.
No, shonen. It's in the biggest shonen magazine in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've done videos on it. I do it every week whenever they have new ones.
Yeah.
Does anyone watch this?
Is it, well, but it's like with how they use magic, is it kind of like Naruto in that sense? Like a lot of different abilities.
Yeah, but everyone has like a set type. It's not like Naruto where you can technically learn everything. You have like a set thing that you'll have, and then wherever it expands beyond that. Whether you have like an element where you're a attacker or a supporter, healer, Hispanic, anything.
Hispanic.
If you're a Hispanic wizard, you never know.
Yeah, I want to read the comic book I forgot his name, but he was like a superhero that people thought was like ridiculous because his power was really like wacky. But like his superpower was basically he could like turn any object into a gun.
I don't know that. The only one I know is Shoot 'em Up.
What is Shoot 'em Up?
Shoot 'em Up is about a guy he's kind of like a pushed around cop that really wants to start shooting people.
Everyone or just specific people?
Pretty much everybody. But he uses that for good. He can turn his hands into like these weird flesh guns. It's very strange. Very strange series. But it was good. It was a good time.
So he's a police officer, like keeps him like eating on him, and he just can't stand it.
What? I didn't hear you.
So you say he's like a police officer who basically like
he's like a Japanese police officer, so they don't get to be like tough cops. He gets picked on a lot by like civilians. He just wants to start shooting people.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. So why is he a police officer if he
wanted to?
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to be the whole idea of a police officer where everyone kind of treats him like shit. He really wants to start shooting people. He fantasizes a lot about shooting people.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's definitely crazy. He's definitely insane. I keep looking at the black ginger emote I made. I'm gonna post it on Yellow Flash's Discord.
Yeah.
See if maybe anybody likes it. Tell me if you like it.
You're gonna post in Discord?
Well, I posted it. Tell me if you like that.
Where? Oh,
okay,
that's pretty funny.
Like it? I'm gonna start using that. That's gonna be my go. Can you get more diverse than that? Maybe that could be my Twitter response. Oh my god.
Yeah. But like yeah, so I kind of looked into it. So the guy's called Gunfire, and basically he can touch any inanimate object and turn it into a gun, basically.
That's pretty cool.
So it's kind of like he doesn't have to worry about, gun grabbers and gun control. Anything he touches is going to become a gun and stuff.
Oh my god, this dude is telling me that I must not be a fan of non-white characters.
What, just now again?
Yeah.
You guys tell you like shocked.
I'm gonna use my black ginger emote. Hang on.
You're going to what? Use the ginger emoji?
I'm gonna use my black ginger emote.
Oh, can you post it on Twitter?
Oh, I just did.
Is it like as an emoji, or is it like just like the picture?
Oh, I rendered it, so it's it posts an emoji.
Okay.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I hope that's actually a dude in blackface too, to make it even more diverse. And you know what? There's clearly the dude aspires. He really wants to be black and he wants to be ginger. He appreciates them a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of annoying how comic books don't really like red-haired people anymore because they're so, they keep changing them. Like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like, I guess, I don't know. Comic books see they're like redheads now.
Apparently, gingers keep getting real popular. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if I want to watch this movie today. I think I'm going to go watch it.
What movie?
The new Incredibles movie.
Oh, yeah, I think I have to wait till next week to see that film.
I was told it was good, but dude at work, he said he liked it, so I'm gonna go give it a try. Plus, I really want to go to the movies. I really like going to the movies.
I just want to, I kind of want to see like how it fits into Pixar theory.
About how they're all connected.
Yeah, all one timeline. It's kind of interesting because like whenever a new movie comes out, people like make videos about how it connects into that whole universe.
These are all their crazy conspiracy theories and shit. I believe it.
Well, it's not really a conspiracy theory. It's just like a fan theory, essentially, where it's all about like that all the Pixar films are connected by these very core themes to them. Like right now, I think currently the core theme that connects the films is basically like memories and love.
Yeah, I get you.
Like it's like how Disney's deal is like dreams, like your dreams come true, like that's their slogan. So with Pixar, their thing is like memories and like human emotion.
Have you looked at it?
It's all thanks to Monsters Inc. Like Boo is the key to the entire Pixar universe, Pixar theory.
I believe it. Have you looked at this weird ass Captain Marvel page that's on Twitter right now?
No, what
like
is
talking
this?
about, she's like thinking to herself about murdering the rest of the Avengers.
See a what?
Apparently, she wants to murder all the Avengers. Are they going to turn her? Here, I'm going to screen share. Are they going to turn her into a villain?
Is this the official page or just someone trolling?
I mean, it looks like official. I don't know though.
Oh, you're talking about a comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a Twitter page.
Nah, that'd be even funnier. Apparently, she wants to kill them all. She looks like thinking to herself. Also, why does Medusa's hair look like that? She's got way too much hair. It looks silly.
Well, I guess she wants to kill all the Avengers because
look at that hair. That's beautiful. It's like 90% of her body mass.
Okay.
What a psycho. They should just make her a villain already.
They probably want to kill her. She probably wants to kill him because, again, she's already proven to be like an authoritarian, like a fascist.
Oh my god. I don't want to reply to this guy anymore. He's annoying me.
Okay. But isn't Captain Marvel like already proven to be an authoritarian or something after Civil War II?
She's crazy. She just wants to throw people in prison and attack people.
Why does she want to throw people in prison and attack them?
They pretty much ripped off Minority Report. So she just went around arresting people before they ever committed a crime and then threw them in prisons. But it was like her own personal prison, and it wasn't supervillains. It was just like normal people.
What people were their thought crimes? I
don't know. Just whatever crime that they would commit at some point. I think one dude was going to do like a terrorist act or some shit. And of course, it was a white dude.
Yeah, because like you can't have.
You know what? I'm offended.
You can't have Muslims be terrorists in a book.
I'm offended. Why do only white people get to be villains now? This is bullshit.
Yeah, see, I always tell people that Islamophobia is retarded because if Christianophobia was a thing, then literally, like, there would literally be no LGBT movement because a lot of like these skeptics, these pro-LGBT groups and all that stuff, they would totally, they would be immediately censored and called like, hate speech preachers to basically, talk about issues involving like religious fanaticism. It's just like insane because you can basically chalk Islamophobia up as like a blasphemy law.
I think everybody's getting way too sensitive.
I know. It's you give the same courtesy to all groups of people, then you realize, oh yeah, this is actually detrimental to, being able to discuss and come up with ideas if people are like, scared to express themselves.
They're trying to crush all everyone's different opinion. It's starting to get stupid.
Well, that's because they're communists and stuff, and communists want everyone to come to heel when it comes to ideology and stuff.
And people are starting weird.
What?
We need to just kick them out. If we kick these people out of society, they can go live on an island.
It's all the collectivist group thing.
Well, it's just like, it's kind of like Armenian. I can't pronounce his last name properly, but like he did an interesting video on like on why you shouldn't try to debate a feminist. In that, when you're making videos like debunking all these different theories and stuff, you're not trying to argue or debate with the feminists. You're trying.
You're breaking up.
Firstly, what?
Yeah, you're breaking up really bad, man.
Oh no, is this why this is the finale? This is where you die?
No.
Oh,
wait, can you hear me now or am I breaking up?
You were a second ago. I'll be at your funeral.
Is it fine now, Ricardo?
Yeah, you're coming in a bit better.
Okay, what I was saying is that in his video, he talks about how when you make a video debunking feminist points, you're not the goal of that video is not to debate or argue with a feminist. It is basically to show other people who think and have like a rational brain that, their ideology is bullshit. So it's like you shouldn't waste your time or like money, for instance, to like try and like debate and argue with them because they're just going to like, flick you aside and stuff and think you're just.
You're breaking up again.
What, did you catch any of that?
Barely.
But did you get the gist of what I was saying?
What are you streaming or something in the background? Downloading?
That was maybe somebody else.
Oh, maybe I just need to close 6. Okay, it might. Okay, I'm probably coming in a little better. Maybe I just gotta close some extra windows. Okay, am I coming better?
Chat. For now.
For now.
You're doing it?
Just
your shit is all breaking up.
Brain.
I can see your picture up. We can't hear
I'm still breaking up. What, am I still breaking up?
Oh my god, you're fucking really bad.
I'll miss you at your funeral. We'll speak.
Okay, is this better? Is this better?
I guess.
I'm just gonna turn off my voice modulator and.
Okay, is it off?
Yeah.
Okay, it's off. Okay. Am I coming in better?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It must be the voice modulators kind of like having issues syncing up with the live stream or whatever.
You sound a lot less black.
What? You sure?
You sound like I've imagined you so far with the voice changer always as like some thug.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't look like I can take out a bunch of guys. Yeah, no. Although
I guess you could take out a bunch of guys, but it'd be in a different way.
I did take Taekwondo years ago.
I believe in your capabilities.
Yes, I am. Yeah, one of the things I like trolling is like how upset kung fu guys will get when people debate them about how a boxer could go up against a martial artist and stuff, and they say like boxers can't. It's like, yeah, they could. They have pretty fast punches, and they use their weight and momentum pretty well to pack a powerful punch.
I don't know. They catch him with one good fucking hook.
Well, yeah, I mean,
care who
no,
you
there
are.
was like there was an MMA fight that like years ago where you had a boxer and like he was going up against a kung fu martial artist, and he basically came in like whacked the guy in the face and like one punched him because it's like the guy came in on attack, like the guy just reacted and punched him like square in the face because like his fist moved like just moved so fast that it's like you could barely see it.
I believe it.
Yeah. And then the street fighting's cool too, because like street fighting is like there's no real form to it. It's literally just like, you gotta fight and take down your opponent as quick as possible.
What shows are you guys watching right now?
I
Or any comics?
What?
Or any
Oh
comics?
yeah.
What comics are you guys reading right now? Try and read this
Yeah.
Hawkman.
I'm reading
Hawkman was
Pinocchio
good.
Vampire
Don't
Slayer.
spoil it.
I'm reading
Yeah,
Pinocchio
Hawkman was
Vampire
good.
Slayer.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
what about that last Ian Pinocchio?
with Hawkman, I've never read it before, and I was kind of confused. But apparently, his mace. You notice he's got like a little baton on his belt. The mace kind of just comes out of that,
Really?
using like nth metal, and that fucking thing he pulls out of his bag. That like
Don't
I
spoil
don't
it.
know, that big thing at the start. He fucking puts it on, and then his wings pop out of that too. So like he can retract his wings and shit into like
I don't know much about
chest
Hawkman.
piece.
Hey,
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
How about you, Pawn?
I'm not watching anything, nor do I desire to.
What about reading?
God damn it, when this tree
comics?
grows up, I'm going to cut it into another chair, sit down, and scowl.
Well, okay, that's funny. What about what comics?
Yeah.
I think I've only ever read some Batman comics all the way through because somebody said, "All right, Pawn, maybe you hate everything else, but maybe you'll love Batman." But he was wrong. It was worthless.
Wait, what about Watchmen? You ever try reading Watchmen?
No, and you know what? I think you should be able to tell me what's so great about Watchmen without me reading it myself. So just tell me the best part of Watchmen, if you can.
The best part of Watchmen is basically how it deconstructs the superhero mythos about how everyone's supposed to trust superheroes with their lives, but Watchmen says that's a very bad idea because the superheroes are kind of psychotic and just some of them are just mentally deranged. Like Rorschach is a character who is essentially like I want to call him maybe he's a satire, but he's kind of like he's the anti-hero, but I think he was kind of intentionally meant as kind of a satire of that concept, and that he also is kind of like a bit of a libertarian who basically essentially believes in the absolute like justice, where when someone commits a crime, you should like beat the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But Watchmen does have a story, does it not?
Oh, it has a story. Yeah, it's basically set in the Cold War in like an alternate timeline where Nixon got elected like 3 times, and the war, like we're about to enter like a nuclear war with the Soviet Russians.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the main story is kind of about one of the old superheroes gets killed off, and one of the main characters, Rorschach, is kind of like investigating his murder and trying to determine like what the reasons for, and and it kind of leads them to believe that one of their fellow superheroes actually committed the murder.
Uh-huh. So far it's pretty cliche, but what's the best part of the story?
Best
the blue
part?
penis.
Yeah.
There's a guy and he gets super powerful and he starts saying how he doesn't like humanity, bunch of nihilism, I suppose. He loathes humanity. He's better than everybody. He wants to leave. Is he interesting at all? Is there something interesting about him that I just haven't heard about?
You mean Dr. Manhattan?
Manhattan, yeah.
Well, the thing about Dr. Manhattan is that like it's based on the idea that he is an all-powerful character, kind of like Superman, but as he kind of almost ascends to this like almost omnipotent state, he begins to lose his humanity and stuff, and he kind of begins to question what is the value in life and stuff.
Right, that's happened in a lot of movies since then, especially with android characters saying, "Oh, you're all worthless. I'm smarter than all of you," and he transcends them.
the android characters are not really that powerful. Whereas Duckman has literally, for all intents and purposes, he could basically be considered a god.
Okay.
So it's just kind of like when you
can
ascend
kill
to godhood.
All right.
Wait, what?
He can kill people. He can disintegrate things and build clocks. Okay.
Yeah,
But
he can-
what's the best part of the story though?
Well, the best part of the story is basically like the deconstruct is like in a sense like the journeys that the characters go through during the comic book and like the deconstructionalism. You know, it's like the themes behind the comic book. That's what make people loving the characters.
Can you describe any of those themes?
Like the theme is basically, you have the cold, you have like the Cold War setting, like in the fact that the war, there's about to be a nuclear war, and then the themes are basically like superheroes who are like not only have problems, some of them are just like kind of like are mentally deranged, like they're like they aren't the type of people who you'd like being like watching the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the twist at the end, because I guess you don't mind spoilers, right?
I sure don't.
Okay, so one of the superheroes turns out to be the one who kills like the superhero that was murdered
Very
at
surprising.
the beginning of the book.
Uh-huh.
And basically he essentially fakes an alien invasion to basically unite the world against like to stop like the nuclear apocalypse.
Hmm.
It's also cliche, useless, worthless.
We should just burn all fiction. And that way we can start over, and then nothing will be good, and then everything will be good at the same time.
I love it. So, you read a Doomsday Clock? Because I haven't started it yet. It's on issue 5
I like
right
it.
now.
I like the character interaction.
I didn't read Doomsday Clock, but yeah.
With Doomsday Clock, should I start reading it? Or can I still hold off?
You might as well just wait until the graphic novel comes out, because it's every 2 months.
Like,
I
I'm
agree.
buying the floppies, but like...
Well, I'm gonna just because I'm not gonna have 5 out of 12 and then have a full book. I'll feel ridiculous.
Yeah, so I was gonna wait till they... Like, none of it's like in the main timeline, is it? Anything to do it yet?
Apparently it takes place like slightly in the future. I don't know. Someone told me that. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's supposed to, like, whenever they did the first issue, it was supposed to be a year ahead, and then they were going to do 12 issues and kind of catch up with the current timeline. Or the current timeline, sorry, was going to catch up with Doomsday Clock. That was my understanding.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'd have
So,
to
like,
double
Doomsday
check.
Clock was a year ahead whenever issue 1 came out from the current timeline. Current timeline was supposed to catch up, and then they'd both be running
speaking of,
simultaneously.
I guess speaking of weekly news, actually, since I finally remembered. So, like, what did you guys think of the whole Jeff Johns thing, where he's like stepping down and kind of getting his own little production company or something?
Well, they promoted Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
So that's good in my book.
Good stuff.
Well, interesting enough, I feel like it might be a pretty good thing because it seems like Jim Lee has had experience running something since when he, was part of the original guys to make Image. They kind of had their own little piece of the company to run. If you guys remember that bit of history of Image.
I don't. I
Yeah, so apparently, like Image was created, right?
I assumed it was a bunch of guys branched off.
Yeah, because they were basically, it was several artists who felt slighted by the industry, feeling like they were going to end up like Jack Kirby, who, basically spent his entire career kind of, being screwed over by like these big publishing companies. So they decided to break off and form their own creator-owned company, which was Image. It was basically like Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and like one other guy. Those were like the main 4.
I understand now.
Yeah, so, but like, so basically Jim Lee has had history running stuff. So I think like as an executive, he might do a pretty good job. Whereas like Jeff Johns did a decent job. I feel like writing wise, he's awesome, but running stuff, I think he'd be hit and miss.
Yes, I agree slightly.
Oh, what?
I don't know. I think Jim Lee's probably less
Why, it's
ideologically
Florence.
driven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jim Lee. Oh, yeah, Jim Lee is definitely not ideologically driven, which I think is still, which is a good thing because it means that at least they have someone who's helming the ship who isn't like always thinking about identity politics. So,
And he's like Asian or something, so like he's a POC. So right there.
I hate that term so much.
yeah, no, don't do
Makes me feel like I'm some form of
There-
subhuman.
Yeah, it's like
Checkbox.
POC is I hate the term.
Just be a person.
Yeah, POC is stupid just because
But you are a person. You're a person with special qualifiers.
Hang on, how long do you think Yellow Flash is gonna keep putting this stupid soy Spider-Man in all his thumbnails?
Wait, what is this? Wait, Christian, where does the soy Spider-Man come from? I am very curious.
Doctor Strange.
Like, what is the story behind that? I'm just very curious to know what.
It's the soy face. It's the face all the soy boys make on.
I know it's a soy face, but like, what exactly is the context of the comic book? Like, I'm now very.
Man, it was just
Doctor Strange gets turned down by some ugly chick.
It was just a random panel. Like in the panel, Doctor Strange was drawn normally, and Spider-Man just had a stupid fucking look on his face.
So, like, what? Why does Spider-Man have a look on his face? What was the reason for him doing that?
I don't know. The artist made a horrible fucking choice.
Okay, so
Artistic direction.
So it was just literally a stupid panel. There was no it wasn't like an intentional. Oh, hey, we're gonna cuck Spider-Man.
It looks like a meme. It looks like somebody drew a meme, but it's real.
Wait, was this new or is this old?
It's new.
That was like one of the last 2 issues, probably. I'll pull it up. I should be able to find it.
Okay, because I was very curious about that because I was wondering, oh, they turned Spider-Man into a soy boy.
Doctor Strange.
Nobody wants to be a soy boy.
He be a soy boy.
Nobody needs it. Nobody ever.
Yeah, but yeah, so apparently, so Jeff Johns is gonna get his own little I think his own little creator studio or some type of company within Warner Brothers where he can produce his own stuff.
Yeah, I think he's doing television. Is that the idea?
It seems like he'll be doing television, movies, and potentially comic books. It's just and he might have access to use certain characters. It's just they can also be original.
There we go, guys.
Oh, okay. So wow. That is disturbing.
The soy face is very confusing. It's a sign of people who aren't well.
This is like the fucking face on him in all these panels. It's just.
Yeah, it looks like someone's trying to copy Alex Ross or something like that. Trying to have that Alex Ross semi-realistic, art style, but it just kind of fails.
It's
very ugly looking.
This looks good.
Yeah, it's just kind of. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They just drew Peter looking so ridiculous.
Yeah. So apparently, Emerald City, San Diego Comic-Con is going to debut a trailer for Aquaman.
I heard that. I want to watch it.
Yeah,
that could be really good.
I want to watch Aquaman.
I mean, they showed some. I think it was either pictures or concept art of a bit of Black Manta. Looks pretty good.
He's not going to be the villain in the movie, though.
Oh, okay.
It's Ocean Master. Black Manta, I think they're hyping up in the movie for the next one if they get a second one.
Okay.
He looks cool though. What's the Spider-Man's face? What's that? Ooh, Spider.
James Wan is directing it.
Yeah, he's the director.
I liked his other movies.
He's pretty good. Yeah, I loved his Conjuring. I thought that was great.
Conjuring and Insidious are both pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see Hereditary because I heard Hereditary is a really good film.
Thing is, though, are the Warner Bros. Execs gonna come in and completely fucking ruin it like I guess they did with Batman
I
vs
don't-
Superman, Justice League, all
I am not
Justice League got fucked because Joss Whedon came in. It's like, let me rewrite half
Yeah.
the movie and
Okay,
plug
yeah,
all
Joss
the
Whedon-
scenes in there.
I think Joss Whedon definitely fucked up Justice League, but Batman vs Superman, I feel like that was the editors and Warner Bros. F that up and stuff too. But it's like it depends because I feel like now that there's been all this shakeup, they might back off finally. Because I know like they fired or got rid of Diane Nelson over this whole movie business.
Fucking Wonder Woman was fantastic.
I really liked Wonder Woman
Well,
too.
I mean, some people are arguing whether or not it was like I really loved the film. But a lot of people are saying like all the glowing reviews might have also been because of identity politics. So there's
I've
all
seen
that.
it. I've seen it in theaters, man. I fucking was impressed.
I liked that. I thought it was pretty good.
What was the best part of Wonder Woman?
Oh no.
Oh, I got this one. Whenever she comes out of that motherfucking trench with that shield,
Actually, you know what?
and all those bullets like a fucking.
No, my
beast.
favorite part of Wonder Woman was basically like all the scenes with Ares when you finally realize who he is.
I really liked when they did the shield up and she just jumped into that tower and overkilled the dude. That poor guy.
That was awesome too.
She just needed to hit him once, and so she collapsed that whole building.
One of the things I like about Ares in this film was the fact that rather than go the typical hulking brute of like a character that normally is done with Ares in like fiction, they kind of decided to have him be more complex and more of like more manipulative, which is actually pretty cool because there's more to war than just pure destruction. There's also
but the actor they cast, like that British guy,
dude, I thought he was great.
I thought it was just weird.
The thing though is you didn't expect.
Again, they were trying. You're not supposed to. That's the point. Is that guy again? You don't expect him to be Ares because he's supposed to be unexpected. So I thought that was excellent.
Yeah, from that perspective.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the point. It's like Ares typically in most forms of fiction, including comic books, they portray him as being a very, you're a very typical, Greek warrior and stuff. But in this, they were trying to give you something new, which I thought was more interesting. Yeah.
Seemed like a fucking meme to me, though. It's like surprise.
Yeah, you like Spider-Man. You can't talk.
Oh, shit the fuck.
With the new Spider-Man movie, either giving him in the sequel a non-gender conforming friend.
They're what?
They're putting a non-binary person in the next Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
they don't fucking talk about it
confirmed.
in the actual movie. Who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
if they
It
just
is
have,
not. No.
Guys, that's how it starts. They're getting you used to it. They don't have any lines, and then all of a sudden,
Spider-Man's at training. He uses his webs to take down Nazis.
See now, I can see it. Like it's like what people have been saying. They're going to turn Phase 5 is going to basically be SJW Marvel because the Marxists always invade because it's like what a person Yellow Flash comment said. These SJWs are like AIDS and stuff. It will infest and kill the body.
Well, they already said that Captain Marvel is going to be the new leader and face of the Avengers movies and MCU.
Yeah, it's just fuck that. I mean, again, the costume looks like garbage.
She doesn't even. They asked her about. They asked her what it was like filming the movie, and she's like, "It's just like filming any other movie." She's like,
"Yeah,
you've been in like 80% indies, and you're going to get into the largest movie franchise of all time. Show some goddamn enthusiasm."
And the actress is like, fucking insane. She's like crazy.
But remember that time she was at the airport and some guy paid her a compliment at the airport, and she fucking went on a huge Twitter. She was like, "Oh my god, I just got."
Yeah, it's just
fucking creeper harassed me.
Her nudes got leaked because Walt found her nudes and basically posted them in a Discord.
Really?
Yeah, no, he's got her nudes. What?
We Larson has nudes on the internet.
Wait, what? Wait, sorry, who said that?
Who has nudes on the internet?
Yeah, for some reason, lots of celebrities tend to leak their nudes on the internet. So
you can find them right now.
Brie Larson, you hoe.
3 seconds.
I already found them.
Oh, you found them? Don't screen share. I want to get my video taken down.
What a hoe.
Although I don't know, YouTube is kind of weird when it comes to
Actually, no. I think
nudity
she
and
was.
stuff.
I think it was a movie she was in. Actually, no. Some of it they're definitely straight nudes.
No.
Yeah, no, some of them are definitely nudes. No, she has nude scenes in the movie, but the ones that Wall posted were
And that
like
would be.
nude she actually took as selfies. Yeah.
And then that girl will be leading all the feminist superheroes.
Yeah, I mean, again, she looks
dirty hoe.
like Brie Larson looks like the type of person who's probably going to basically be like in the future accuse someone at the MCU of sexual assault.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I have suspicions that Zoe Quinn's going to do in her comics. She's going to sleep with both the guys that she's going to work with, and then use that to her advantage.
Yeah, you know Scott Lobdell. It's like it happened to Scott Lobdell. It's like Scott Lobdell. He's the guy who writes or at least is writing Red Hood and the Outlaws. You know, like he wrote the New 52 run and the Rebirth run. But anyway, so it's like so he basically was like fooling around at a Comic-Con and stuff. You know, basically playing jokes and basically kind of being being a little wacky and stuff. And this girl who is like a new hiree at Marvel or a comic book company then just went on like this anonymous like sexual harassment site and basically talked about how she was harassed and stuff. And basically now everyone hates him and wants him gone from comic books, thinking he's like a serial harasser.
Some bitches are hoes.
I know, it's just so stupid. It's like apparently, yeah, she's upset because his comments made her uncomfortable and stuff. It's like it's like this again. It's like these people wonder why so many guys don't want to hang out with women because they just you don't you can't have fun or just say wacky and ridiculous stuff without them feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, pretty much. Starting to dwindle down. Everyone's gonna become incel or some shit.
Incel. Hey, I want an incel game to be a thing. That would be fun.
An incel video game?
Yeah, basically you play you play like a group of incels who are basically planning all these different terrorist attacks against against the goddamn the sexualized communities and stuff. Basically you could blow up you could bomb buildings and stuff and do all sorts of stuff. And the goal of the how we get the game out without people outraging is just portray them as the bad guys. So you're basically playing the villains.
What you do is you have them beat up white heterosexual males, and then everyone will be on your side.
Well, you can also beat up women. I mean, you can beat up women in GTA and stuff, so you can that you won't get busted. I mean, they do that in GTA, and they still haven't been censored or told that you can't make these games anymore.
Oh god, this is fucking hilarious. Remember I had to leave last week?
What?
Remember I left the stream last week?
Because of what?
Well, my buddies came and picked me up. Anyways, I get in the car with them. They're like, "Oh, what were you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I was on a stream." And I was trying to explain to him what the fuck a stream was. I'm like, "Yeah, we're talking about incels and ethno states." And the one guy's like, "What's an ethno-cell?" I'm like, what?
Wait, so you're saying you hang out with idiots, Ricardo?
Fucking guys are like so normie, I guess. They have no idea what any of this internet bullshit is.
I get it, Ricardo. You're one of those people that hangs out with them just so you can feel superior.
No. I didn't bother talking about it, but it was fucking pretty funny that they're just normal lads.
Yeah.
They don't fucking have anything to do with this shit. They had no fucking idea at all what the hell I was talking about. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
Say, Pawn, what is your opinion on this whole ethno-state argument that's been going around online?
Oh no, it's pretty generic.
On what arguments exactly?
The whole there's the whole things with the alt-right and them talking about ethno-nationalism and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering what you think of that whole, that whole argument's been just, been taking a good portion of the internet right now.
Well, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in white power or anything like that. For the most part, I just don't care about the stuff they're talking about. So much of it is stuff that is just repeating over history, and so much of it is just new stuff that will always be changing, and it doesn't really matter because next month it'll be something else. So you can't get too hung up on it right now.
Well, that is actually pretty true. I think about the thing with the alt-right is that they have some interesting ideas, and they do have some points that culture and ethnicity are really important two groups of people. Otherwise, we wouldn't still have different identities and stuff that obviously mean a lot to, certain people. Like you can't. It would be like intellectually dishonest and naive to say that, people don't gravitate towards groups. You understand? I mean, there are people who don't, but
I
most
totally
people
agree.
Yeah, I just feel like the thing about the alt-right is the alt-right makes a mistake where they think that what is it? Like number one, the Jewish question. I feel like their whole obsession with the Jews kind of makes them look bad, and kind of like makes people not want to really discuss with them because they some of them come off as very conspiracy theory like, but their leaders, like their thought leaders, are kind of at least you can have a debate with them. Whereas with SJWs, you just can't really have a debate with SJWs.
Well, the thing with the alt-right is they should probably take a stance more on culture as opposed to race, and then people.
Well, I mean, it's
seriously.
Like the thing about race. I mean, you kind of have to admit that there is kind of what's the word, like connection between the fact that Europeans who all kind of share like basically the white race and stuff have in a sense developed very similar things over the course of their history and stuff.
Yeah, but
just from a historical standpoint, looking at the like kind of looking at the facts and stuff.
I don't know.
I mean, I would say culture is more important than race.
It's like,
I would say that race does have some.
But it's like if you're like if you're half black, half white, you have all the fucking cultural alignments with these. I don't know what to call them. Pure white European whites. Like, what the fuck's the difference?
I personally kind of hate the idea that people consider half black, half white to be black and stuff. I feel like that's kind of racist against whites. I also like half black and half white, which should be like their own thing. Like they're mixed.
Some form of Oreo.
Well, Oreo, that's not Oreo. Oreo is basically like is basically corrupt. Like corrupt's basically an Oreo.
Whoa.
Well, someone who's basically black on the outside, white on the inside.
50%. I thought you said that if you're half black and half white and you're an Oreo, you're a corrupt person.
No, I'm talking about corrupt. What's his name? He's in Yellow Flash Discord.
I understand now. My eyes have been opened to the truth.
Corrupt, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's in the Yellow Flash Discord.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah, anyway, I was just making a joke saying, yeah, he's an Oreo and stuff because, black on the outside, white on the inside. But what I was saying was...
Holy, I got it now.
Yeah, but what I was saying was, it's just that I just feel like like a lot of people like to say that the alt-right and SJWs are like exactly the same, but I personally just feel like that's a little dishonest right there because I just feel like I can have a debate with the alt-right, at least with their thought leaders, compared to SJWs who will literally kind of shout down will just kind of, smack down any attempt you have to like discuss with them. I just feel like I just feel like with the alt-right, the hordes, like their followers are the ones that tend to do a lot of the really stupid and cringy stuff, but the leaders are, for the most part, at least you can have some form of discussion with them. Except maybe Mike Enoch. Mike Enoch and Tara McCarthy, those are the ones that I think really make them look bad when it comes to like the well-knowns among the movement.
I don't know. They're all fucking cringe.
I don't know. Nick Vientes is pretty funny. He's like Ben Shapiro if he was like counter-Semitic. Yeah, he's like Ben Shapiro's counter-Semitic brother.
But it's like you want to fucking get this white race thing rocket, start pumping out the kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the alt-right. The problem with the alt-right is that they don't come up with any really realistic solutions and stuff. Because, again, now that they're trying to appeal to, women, you obviously don't want to say, oh, yeah, you need to make babies, get married, and to stop voting and stuff, That's not going to attract many women to your movement and stuff. I mean, there's one guy who basically, like, he was a white nationalist who basically married a Jewish emo Instagram model who was an SJW.
Married?
She cucked him and stuff. Yeah, like he married in Jewish SJW.
I heard about this. I thought he was just banging some. I thought you brought this up before.
Well, the joke going around is like you guys heard of Jew boobs, right?
Jew boobs?
Jew boobs. Apparently Jewish women have like almost on average have much larger boobs than a lot of other women, like other ethnic women and stuff. So apparently their boobs are basically attracting these white nationalists and alt-right members to like have sex with them and betray their, white identitarianism.
I'm an ass man myself.
Yeah, that too, but well, again, Jews tend to be very curvy.
I don't know.
My fiance's Jewish.
Does she have a big nose?
No, she doesn't have a big nose.
Does this mean you guys will have black Jew children?
Yeah, I guess so.
I've only met one black Jew.
So it's like
not the only one in the world.
A lot of black Jews. Yeah. Basically, they're going to have the sexual prowess and they're going to have the athleticism and sexual prowess of a black person mixed with the intellectual money smarts of a Jew. It's going to be glorious.
Imagine if it actually goes the exact opposite and they're athletic like a Jew and smart as a black person.
That's the money skills.
Wait, just imagine my son. He's wearing a yarmulke, the Jewish hat and stuff, and he's basically running a 4.4 40-yard dash, outrunning defensive backs in football and stuff. That would be so funny.
Could be walking around with his pants sagging and
L'chaim.
Unable to try to catch his breath.
He'll do Jew rap. We'll call it Jew. He'll do a Jew rap where him and his fellow black Jews do like rap battles.
He's gonna have trouble rhyming the word goyim.
Goyim. What is goyim? Golem. Golem is so goyim and stuff. There we go. Goyim and golem. Yeah.
You guys are inventive. You're gonna make the whole next line of Jews.
Yeah, we're building a master. We're building a master race.
Root.
I guess I'm getting arrested for.
You heard about your plan to make the black Jew. You heard about your plan to make the black Jew. The world isn't ready for it.
Well, it's funny. I actually came. I actually came up with a solution to not a solution. Sorry, I came up with like a solution for the alt-right. For the whole white race in decline and stuff. I'm kind of like this. All you just really need to do is basically make everyone else infertile, and then just have a lot more kids and impregnate women and stuff.
We could do.
Also, cloning. Like once we develop cloning, then the white race is saved. Just clone.
We'll just turn everyone into the lizard men.
But just imagine that. Imagine when we can clone things like Kryptonians and stuff in the Kryptonian culture where it's like, oh yeah, 2 black parents can have a white kid and stuff. 2 white parents can have a black. It's gonna be weird when we could do that. That'd be kind of disturbing. Where it's like, oh yeah, we artificially grow our children, and you can make them have any trait you want. So then you can if you want, you can actually be 2 lesbians who basically make a girl who is actually a lesbian herself.
Can you do that?
Well, since sexuality is determined by the brain, I guess, yeah.
Is it?
It would be fine. Okay, fine. Then we somehow managed to recreate sin biologically to basically turn people gay.
Damn.
We call that liquid sin or liquid homosexuality.
Oh, this is getting dark real fast.
I like it.
Now you're gonna have a gay-hating black Jew, non-athletic, non-money having.
Welcome back, Florence.
You just missed the homophobic black gay Jew.
You missed us talking about like liquid gayness.
Oh, what?
Sounds delicious.
Florence, did you catch the whole drop the B, like a little joke hashtag that was going around Twitter?
No, does it have anything to do with Samantha B?
No, it had to do with dropping the B out of LGBT, as in bisexual should be taken out of it was a joke. Apparently, like, I don't know what happened. All I know is Corrupt basically did a tweet about it where he knew it was a joke. He said he recognized that it was a joke, but he wouldn't be surprised if they actually did that.
Are you
Because
telling
apparently
me
the
that
joke
he
behind
did
it,
put the T and the plus?
he did the joke. Well, the joke was basically, I think, saying that bisexual people somehow are apparently transphobic or something like that.
I believe it.
I don't know. It's like that whole thing where feminists are trying to accuse gay men of misogyny or something because, gay men aren't interested in women or something like that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That might be the greatest thing I've ever heard.
What's funny about this whole thing is that, if men didn't like sex, like if all men were asexual and stuff, then
Turn into
women would be like screwed because then it's like, sex appeal, like sex is basically like their biggest weapon, especially when it comes to feminists. That's why feminists are so angry, because I think they know that like sex is like their biggest weapon against men. But if we gave up on that, then they'd be screwed, because then they would have to require like the government to like basically force men to like give up positions to women and stuff to compete with them.
What about giraffes?
What?
They're super gay animal, giraffes.
Giraffes aren't gay.
Most giraffes are dudes that fuck other giraffe dudes.
Nah, that's propaganda.
I don't know. There was
Nah,
that scene in
propaganda. It's propaganda by the mainstream.
scene in that movie.
Madagascar.
Hey, Rachel Hollis.
Gladiator for the guy
Like Rachel, like Rachel,
giraffes.
like what Rachel Hollis said. The lie was dead. Hollywood was always red.
I believe it.
Oh yeah, it's like Arthur Miller. Never heard of a guy, but now I'm reading about him. I can see how his brand of Marxist communism is being taught to all these Antifa guys in school. It's pretty funny. It's like basically like
auto ship Antifa guys out of here. Just
wait, what?
We just send the Antifa guys somewhere else. We send them to an island. We need to get some islands to send some of these people to.
Yeah, they can build their communist utopia there.
They'll eat each other long before that.
But it's kind of like how what's funny is just how all these guys are like suckers, because basically like they're all following the Frankfurt School of Cultural Marxism, which was basically intentionally trying to take over society by basically destroying every institution by claiming it's oppressive. So literally all these Antifa guys are basically pawns in like this whole scheme by cultural Marxists. Wait, what?
Pawns, huh? Excuse me.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
they're generic,
different pawns.
unentertaining people. They need to be more original.
Watch
Well,
it.
yeah.
I got you.
I
I preemptively struck for you, so you don't have to waste your energy.
Well, Antifa. Well, Antifa is like a terrible remake of a previous organization that, in itself, wasn't a very great organization either. Yeah, basically the red shirts from World War II, and they were stupid as well.
I'm just like, not that I'm like bashing capitalism or anything, but I've actually had a talk with a friend yesterday about like capitalism and socialism. I mean, they're capitalists, but even they kind of say that like, isn't it? Aren't like whatchamacallit, like medicines, when they're in the like medicines, aren't they usually like, don't they usually cost like way more than they should?
It depends. I mean, some medicines over the years, some medicines have gone down in price just because of how accessible they are. It's like basically in like a free market system, if it is easy to make and it is and it's produced in a wide variety, then normally the price will be cheaper. If it's something specialty, then it will be more expensive. It's kind of like how a book costs way less than buying comics, because a book,
Round 2 death will miss you.
you can buy what?
You get
Oh, did I break up?
Kind of.
Yeah, so what I was just saying was that I think it just kind of has to do with like in a free market, depending on what you're buying and how mass produced it is, it could be more expensive, you know, especially if it's something special. But you're just discussing about capitalism and socialism.
Because I heard that from that friend that capitalism it should be all well and good if it's like just kind of free, like anyone can do whatever they want as long as like the medicine isn't really that costly because
the thing about socialism or like socializing healthcare is that someone has to pay for it. Like there's no such thing as free. Like when someone says free healthcare, that's like a lie because you're paying through it through your taxes and stuff. So someone has to pay for it. Like one of the reasons why our system is kind of broken right now is because we've tried to implement like a national bank, like a central bank, and the banks and people who are voting want to vote for getting free stuff, but they don't want to pay extra taxes to pay for it, you know? So when you do that, the government has to borrow money. And when you borrow money, you put yourself in debt. It's one of the reasons why inflation's a thing. Like inflation is literally like a form of taxation. It's like a new form of taxation, but it's not called that, you know, where everything gets more and more expensive, which in turn like brings in a little more tax revenue as well.
Mm.
But it's just, I don't know. Like the thing with socialism is socialism requires to have a massive state to be able to function and stuff. And when you have a massive state, you have a lot more regulations, way more rules, and it gets more confusing, and that's why you kind of end up with less freedom. Whereas capitalism,
the whole thing with the fucking medicine is too. It's all the goddamn copyrights and shit. Like if you could just create a competing product create it for the same price and then sell it half as like it doesn't cost these guys $100 to create a pill, but they're charging $100 for a pill because they're the only one that can create the fucking pill because they have copyrights on it.
Well, wouldn't it be a good comparison to compare like medicine to like internet service? Because you know, here in America, we have a very limited amount of internet service providers. Whereas if we had way more internet service providers, then we wouldn't really need to have the government regulate.
Guess how much I pay for internet a month?
How much?
$78.
Yeah, exactly. $80.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, but isn't your sorry? Do you guys use private or do you guys have like a national internet or something like that?
We have two companies that own all the infrastructure.
Internet lads.
So what? Wait. But so your government doesn't subsidize your internet or something?
No.
No? Okay, because it seems like the Europeans have some European nations have that where like the internet is providing people with their governments are providing them with the internet that's like really cheap or something like that. But I was kind of like
internet is now a human right, apparently.
Yeah.
Internet apparently to survive.
Yeah. For some people it is kind of true. I mean, again, Nia Sarkeesian would actually have to go out and get a job if it wasn't for the internet.
Nia Sarkeesian would
Can you believe that
well, what happened is Nia Sarkeesian would say fuck it to the feminists and go get dicked down by some 60-year-old rich dude.
Yeah, and then accuse him of rape and get
believe in half the stuff she says herself.
Yeah.
I actually made a joke in one of Weaponized Nerd Rage's videos that if Anita Sarkeesian ever got a job, she'd work at Starbucks.
Probably, but it's like, but what's amazing is she is able to get like $250,000 off of all that shit and stuff that she pulled.
Mm.
I mean, it's literally like you just call apparently if you just call yourself a feminist and claim about misogyny in a certain like industry, then apparently you'll get like $250 million.
And now she's just kind
Some people are just stupid with their money. Yeah, it's funny. Like someone did a video talking about saying that it might be good if we went back to the time when where only landowners would be allowed to vote in America, because they say that when you have so many bums that are allowed to vote and stuff, they're gonna vote for free shit and destroy the economy, which is why our inflation goes through the roof.
If you pay a net to the government, you should be allowed to vote.
You mean just pay taxes?
Well, you could pay taxes and then get like fucking thousands of dollars in subsidies.
Yeah, screw that. No. if you own a house, if you're in a house, then you can be allowed to vote.
Brother, I'm never gonna own a fucking house. I have no reason to own a house.
You build a tiny house, and then you get to vote.
Oh God.
But what about those houses for commanded? Now the homeless people can vote again.
What? Simple. We're gonna exclude we exclude homeless housing and
What about
stuff.
tree houses?
Wait, what?
What about hamster houses?
We're a hamstring
What
house.
about hen houses?
What are those?
That's where chickens live. What if I live in a hen
No,
house?
that won't count. No, that won't count. But it's just like the idea behind it was that back then people who were voting were voting were more, what was the word? Were more economically God damn it, what's the word? They basically understood you don't want to basically vote for free stuff because nothing is free, you know what I mean? But right now we have an entire voting body that is basically demanding free shit.
That's what you do. New York does. You get them to shelter down underneath the city and the subway stations and all the subway.
You want those voting rules to be implemented. You know why? Because most of California would be ineligible to vote. All those liberal progressive cities would be kicked out. So basically, this country would go red immediately. Because again, literally most people who live in red states, they own houses. They don't live in apartments.
Do you feel like a true minority being a right-winged black man?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Oh my God, you could get a job at Marvel.
Yeah, did you know
you're also transgender?
I actually want to make a movie that's basically a remake of an old film that's about the director. The director of the film made the film as a representation of blowing the whistle on communists in Hollywood, which ended up coinciding with new hearings by the House Un-American Committee. And he basically kind of inserts himself as the main character who basically betrays a union of workers trying to scheme. And he basically goes into this long rant about how he's glad that he betrayed them and exposed them for who they are and stuff, and how they're just a bunch of hypocrites and liars. I want to make a remake of a film, but it's an all-black cast, and the main character is a conservative black man and stuff, who is basically yelling at the other blacks and stuff about how he's glad that he blew the whistle on them. Instead of blowing the whistle, instead of ratting, they use the term ratting, because it's an old film, but in my movie, I would call it, snitching, because in the black community, we call it snitching. When people ask me, what made you make this film? It's very personal to me. It's about my experiences being a conservative black man stuff. Every time, for every hour that I was spent producing this film, I was I was raging inside, trying to let the entire world know what I thought about being forced into a group and not being allowed to think for myself.
You know the struggle is what you're telling me.
Yeah, struggle. Mine afro. Is that the good one?
I'll buy this book.
Is that a good name, Ricardo? Mine afro.
Mine bro.
I don't know. It's
Mine fro.
Trouble with the SJWs.
Mine fro.
I can't do anything. He's black.
Black.
They're gonna tell me he's not black anymore.
So I wanted to create a character called called Afro Man for a comic book, where his thing is that he has a massive afro and his afro produces electricity and it fires lightning bolts.
There is a character with a giant afro is played by O.J. Simpson.
What?
Look at O.J. Simpson giant afro.
What? Where is it? A movie?
Some movie. I don't remember the name. Impressive afro, if you ask me. He couldn't get through the door.
Okay.
Naked Gun. The Naked Gun.
Oh, okay, the Naked Gun.
There's your character right there.
Oh my God.
There's your character. You got it.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's a little too big of an afro.
No, you got it. Just do that.
Yeah. No, I hope so. I really wish someone would basically do a comic book with the original Black Lightning, because you know the original plan for the character, right?
No. What was his original plan?
Basically, you know Shazam, how like, or Captain Marvel, how he basically says Shazam and turns him into a superhero. So it was basically like that, but instead he was basically a racist white guy who would shout the word Black Power or something like that, and turn into a black guy and stuff. Yeah,
I want
That
to fade
sounds so much better.
yeah, that was basically Black Lightning. I don't think I don't know if he had electric powers or not though.
You need to make
But-
that a superhero.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of I think one of the black writers or someone at the time didn't like that idea, or someone complained about it, so they canned it.
Well, now's your chance.
Yeah. Yeah, someone brainstormed, like someone in roleplay brainstormed the idea about doing like an offensive superheroes roleplay, which made me think of, what if people made a comic book where all the characters were basically racist and they weren't really like what's the word, beat up in the end for being racist. They're like still racist and don't learn anything. They just, happen to be the main characters.
Trying to figure out what I might want as my superhero.
Well, I just thought it'd be an interesting idea. I mean, one of the things I brainstormed was like kind of like a Suicide Squad like scenario where like all these,
You know what? There you go.
characters
I
are
would
put together and
I
they
would
have to
be
like-
I would be tranny man, and my power is just to instantly commit suicide. Bam!
Wow.
I did it. I did it.
Yeah, you just got banned from every convention in existence for the rest
Power
of
is it's actually the weakness. If you walk through a door, there's instantly a noose above it that catches you.
Well, it's like the whole thing with diversity in comics, where it's like, diversity in comics called Mag's a man in the wig, and I guess
Max is a man in a wig.
well, yeah, but I don't think he's aware that making insults to a transgender person is like the equivalency of going into a black community and calling them the N-word and stuff. It's like, it's literally TSJWs not recognizing a transgender person as like using the N-word and stuff, these idiots and stuff. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he tries going to convention, people know who he is, if he gets assaulted or someone tries to kill him and stuff, because
He'll just beat the shit out of him. He's an ex-marine,
yeah.
and the people that have a problem with him are going to be like little soy boys.
He's an ex-marine, but again, it's like, you remember Bike Lock guy? If Bike Lock guy, Bike Lock guy, the guy who like made someone bleed with a bike lock, if someone decides they're gonna blindside him and like whack him, because again, I don't think he would expect to be assaulted at a convention and stuff. So if someone blindsides him and whacks him, that's gonna do a lot of damage.
I'm sure he'll show up with security.
I don't know. Depends. That's the thing is, I just think, he didn't realize that when you do stuff like that, that can come back to really bite you and stuff.
Do you honestly think the people that are gonna be upset over that comment are gonna have any fucking backbone to actually fight him?
Well, if Mark Wade blows the whistle on him being at a like at a convention and stuff, then maybe. Again, people protest. You know how many people protest, like how quickly protesters will show up if they think like, oh, there's going to be like a fascist or someone who they deem like a deplorable person.
What are they gonna do? Break a Starbucks window?
They might pull the firearm or do something like they do with Sargon.
Threatening.
They're all pretty fucking soft.
Well, I just don't think diversity in comics kind of might have noticed just how that stuff can really come back to bite you, which means you have to.
It's pretty stupid of them though.
It's the same thing with me and stuff. It's like, I've made comments and stuff, but it's like, if I get in trouble with it, I'm gonna take the heat and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, especially since he knows that people know his actual name and stuff. And he doesn't care. But it's like, you don't care, but stuff like that's gonna happen if people like know who you really are. Well, yeah, it's like
I don't give a shit about Max.
And it's like a lot of people were complaining that, in Arctic Press, caved to SJWs. They kind of more caved to Mark Wade and stuff because, again, they published My Hero Macadamia, which is political satire that's a pro-Trump book and stuff. And a lot of SJWs, like, lost their shit. Like, even the Mary Sue ran a hit piece on it and stuff. And, they didn't can the book. I think it just more has to do with the fact that he got into Twitter fights with actual professional creators who are pretty high up in some of these industries, which probably kind of played into it.
Well, that's why he's got like an extra $200,000 on his book.
Yeah, well, it's like he's gonna make his own company called Splato Comics, and it's like, yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think it's really gonna succeed. Actually, I mean,
it's
not
just
to
gonna be
mention,
it's just gonna be a publisher. It's not gonna be like a building.
well, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a publisher. I'm not saying it's gonna build it. I'm just saying is just that I feel like there's all this hype and stuff, and it's like I might read Jawbreakers, but it's not really, it doesn't really
What
look
the
that
fuck
interesting.
qualifies DNC to fucking open a publishing company?
Because he feels ostracized, and now they're going to be in. It's basically Image 2.0, just with less talented people.
That's not a qualification, though. I don't know.
Okay,
He's
one of the
gonna
things
need
I
a
don't
hell
like
of a lot of capital.
One of the things I don't like about this whole thing is the idea that people now think crowdfunding basically indicates that this is what the industry wants. It's like, no. You have basically 5,000 people or more than 5,000. Most of the people who funded Jawbreakers were probably people who either followed DNC or followed people who followed DNC. And it's like what? How many people were there? How many backers were like 6,000?
I don't know what the number is.
I think the Indiegogo is still there, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me find it. Okay.
I backed them just to piss off the SJWs.
Well, yeah, I'm saying that's another thing. Is like there are people who backed it just to spite the
backers.
SJWs.
9,000.
Okay, he has 9,000 backers and stuff. He has like roughly 40,000 subscribers. That's like still like a fraction, like almost 20%.
Subs.
What?
He's got 80,000 subs.
Okay, but still, that still proves my point. Yeah, and that's like still a fraction of his total subscribers on YouTube. And people are acting like because it made this much money means this is what the industry wants. I'm almost certain that not even like probably like maybe 1 or less than 1% of the people backing it were comic book fans who weren't in on the whole Comicsgate drama and stuff, or were in some way, trying to basically potentially spite SJWs. I mean, that's just my point. Is I just feel like the claims that this is showing what the industry wants is just kind of stupid because this is still like a small minority of the industry. I mean, I'm pretty sure if Mark Waid did an Indiegogo campaign, he could probably get in a lot of people too. I kind of hope he actually would do that just to show people how stupid it is to.
I think it's more of the direct market thing where you'd be able to put out a comic if people want it. You're not going to get people making, America Chavez, a comic that doesn't sell, and then you're just putting a comic on the shelf that nobody wants. Instead, they're trying to do ones where they only will be able to succeed and come out if they get to a certain amount of success.
Yeah,
that will prove that people actually want them.
I get that and stuff, but to claim that this is what the industry wants is, I mean, again, it's kind of cheating in a sense because it's like all those subscribers are people who know. I'm sorry, most of those backers are people who know him and stuff personally. So it's just it's kind of like imagine if I had like 6,000 friends and stuff, and I asked them all to back this and stuff, or 9,000. I asked them all to back my project and stuff. I mean, I can't just go out and claim that, oh yeah, this shows that this is what this industry wants. I mean, to me, that's just cheating and being intellectually dishonest. I mean, I just feel like if Mark Waid were to do the same thing and then just get like 300,000 backing and stuff for an Indiegogo project and stuff, then you'd have DNC like screaming and shouting about how bullshit it is and stuff. I mean, that's just the main reason why I want Mark Waid to do it, just because it kind of will make people wise up and realize, oh yeah, using Indiegogo as an indicator of what the industry wants is total horse shit. When you can basically use your reputation to get all that backing.
Well, I mean, a lot of the time, a lot of writers get a lot of backing of people buy their product because they know them and they back them because they enjoy them.
Yeah. I'm not saying that's not bad. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying just making the claims that this is what the industry wants is a stupid thing to do. And yeah, several people were making that statement on Twitter and on YouTube. So yeah, that was really stupid. But crowdfunding is important. I think it's still a good thing. It's just using it as an indicator to basically reaffirm yourself is basically kind of dumb. And it just is, one bit of ammo that you can give to SJWs to kind of rip into you.
I don't know. I think it's really the only option left. The industry's dying.
Well, the industry's not going to die. It's just it might
Sure.
shrink. No, okay, fine. Here's my if
It's gonna be in
Marvel
a wheelchair.
if Marvel and DC were to go bankrupt tomorrow and basically disappear, then some other companies would come in and take over the
They
space.
can't go bankrupt. They got so much capital.
I know.
The comic branch is just what he's talking about.
I know that, but I'm just saying is the industry is not going to die. Again, web comics that you can buy online or read online, that's still part of the industry. It may not be the same format, but it's still the same medium. So it's not going to die.
We're gonna have real shit Marvel comics for real.
Okay, okay. I'm not saying it's good. The industry's just not going to die. That's the difference. The industry might be shit, but it's not going to die. I mean, again, let's take One Punch Man. One Punch Man was a web comic that became a huge sensation throughout the world, and when it was converted into a Japanese anime and stuff. So it's like, I just feel like web comics and like digital comics are basically the future, and that floppies might go out and stuff. Like for me, if I started my publishing company for comic books, the first thing I would do would be to tell Diamond to go fuck itself, and then try and get like an actual novel publishing company to see if they'll want to try out the waters and publish one of my comics as like with their novel line, like Scholastic. Like if I could get Scholastics to publish my comic book, get my comic books into schools, that would be amazing. That's the way to go. Like just telling Diamond to go fuck itself and to find some like a novel distribution company to basically get my comics out there would be amazing. Because Scholastic guarantees that it's going to go into schools, like elementary schools. Like they always get Scholastic books.
Yeah.
Like Harry Potter was with Scholastic for a while, and then I think they dropped it a bit due to the controversies early on. But then it was already super popular enough that they didn't really need Scholastic anymore. So yeah. Yeah, again, that would be one of the quickest ways to get kids into comic books would be to like have Scholastic start distributing them.
They don't really. They only do the Squirrel Girl comics or the Moon Girl comics. So.
I know it's retarded, but just saying if they could expand, like
Christ, man.
If they could expand, then that would be amazing. If they could get more kid-friendly comics into the schools, because then that's it's an alternative method to Diamond.
Do you know what they sell the fucking Moon Girl book for through Scholastic? Yes.
How much?
$4.
That's really good.
So imagine what Marvel is giving it to them for less than $4. Could you imagine how much money they make off of that fucking thing? Probably $0.
What you mean Scholastic, or you're talking about like
Marvel probably makes like 10 cents off of a Scholastic book they give to them.
Yeah. But that's probably because the book didn't sell enough or didn't get enough sales.
No, they sell to them for $4. Or sorry, they sell it at $4 through Scholastic.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see how. Well, it all depends. I mean, we'll have to see how the numbers work. I mean, if Scholastic. I mean, again, that's them licensing in a sense like a comic book to Scholastic to distribute.
Oh, that's true too. They do the printing.
Oh, what, Scholastic or Marvel?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure exactly what you just said. They license the Moon Girl to them. I'm pretty sure Scholastic.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about the numbers. All I'm just saying is that if a company like Scholastics would start putting comic books in school, like they could actually get comic books to go into school, then that would be, I think, amazing and basically get a lot more kids into the comic books. It could probably help the industry. Because right now, I think Diamond is definitely one of the big culprits behind the industry having issues, getting out there more.
Yeah, they can't put books anywhere except the fucking comic shop. Like, what the hell's up with that?
Yeah, that's stupid. I don't know. That's why things are going digital because if you can't find it, if you have such a hard time finding a comic book in real life, then go digital. It's like that's why
people would you pay for a digital comic whenever you could just read the digital comic for free? That's an
because that would be pirating, and then you have a bunch of people accusing you of hurting. I mean, seriously, like I made a comment about pirating, like like basically pirating a comic book, and people got mad at me on a Discord server saying that there are people who actually own comic book stores on the Discord. So yeah, we'll get mad with you. Whatever.
Product worth spending money.
What are you? What are you, DNC? You don't care?
Am I supposed to?
I don't care, and I'm not DNC.
I don't even think DNC cares.
Are you familiar with diversity?
With what?
Are you familiar with diversity in comics, Pawn?
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
what?
He's a YouTuber who who reviews bad comic books, and basically got really popular because he was basically exposing the whole diversity comic books that SGWs were peddling through Marvel.
Well, you don't really have to expose it. I'd say it's pretty obvious everywhere.
I guess maybe he was roasting or talking about it, but he got popular, and then
I think everybody's just wasting their time. And I think the way to make comic books get popular, a way to make people buy them is to make good comic books, to make good stories. But nobody's doing that. So then everybody turns to the publishing method. Well, maybe if we just pick it up when we just rub it in their face and they're like, read it. Yeah, come on, it's Scholastic. Make them buy it. That'll change it. Nothing's going to change, guys. Just got to start making good stories.
I don't know. The Dark Knight's Metal stories were fun. I liked those a lot. I just feel like you just don't like things.
I don't know. Snyder's got a real all over the place way of doing stuff, but yeah, I enjoyed them.
Well, it was nice seeing Snyder be able to. I mean, it's kind of cool how he's able to He was able to branch out, to use different characters than just Batman, which is pretty nice. It seems like he's kind of almost a little bit like Grant Morrison in a way. I mean, not exactly, but both of them are able to branch out pretty well with other characters. So
Batman's a lot of fun, though.
What?
Batman's very fun, though. I always enjoy Batman.
Batman's. I mean, I just kind of feel like he's overdone. Maybe not overrated, just overdone too much. Like, he's just used way too much. Where there's just so many other good characters in DC that could use some spotlight, but Batman kind of just, I don't know, drives. It's like, he's always like, it's almost like he always has to be in like the driver's seat of the company.
That's just because he's the most liked character.
He's the face of DC.
Yeah.
He's the originator.
Your characters can get more popular if you kind of use them more and stuff, I mean, that's the reason why a lot of people think that DC only has Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and just don't really know about any of the other characters, really, which is pretty stupid because DC has a ton of interesting characters.
Yeah. Part of the fun, though, is learning about new characters.
Yeah, it's like, like I'm glad that they're doing a Challengers of the Unknown series now because, Challengers, that's a superhero team that could definitely make a really great TV show if they wanted to make a cartoon of it. Because their concept is pretty awesome. And then, you have the Teen Titans, which are pretty popular.
Titans. You guys see that new Teen Titans Go movie coming out?
I'm not watching that.
Oh, God, no.
Not watching that trash.
That's one thing I like about DC is DC can write, even before the whole SJW stuff. I always feel like DC was way better at making young superheroes compared to Marvel.
Yeah, they always have.
Yeah, and then
Super Sons book were really good.
Oh yeah, and then then I read this article about Superman's weird superpower where he apparently had one mysterious power where he could literally create a 5-foot clone of himself with all of his powers. It was a Silver Age book.
But yeah, he used to be able just to make his own powers whenever he wanted.
Oh yeah, did you guys watch the new Death Battle with Dr. Fate and Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I like that one. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I had no idea Dr. Fate was that OP, but I guess they were using the Silver Age, so yeah. I guess that's gonna happen with a DC character.
Yeah, I thought it was cool and I like that one a lot. Usually I don't like their death battles, but I like that one.
Oh. Which one did you hate?
We talked about this last week.
Oh yeah, you got really mad about the Gar versus Torf.
I thought that one was one of the really dumb ones. Yeah.
You at least haven't accused them of racism, right?
Wait, what?
Oh, there were some really sore anime fans that were basically accusing Death Battle of being racist because they thought that they kept making them lose to like American characters. So that for some reason they interpreted that as racism.
That's because people are stupid.
I know it's retarded, but yeah. Because the people were accusing them of hating anime because I think like there were a lot of anime characters that lost against American characters.
Just because they didn't have a good matchup.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna try and go watch this movie. See you later.
Okay. See ya.
Have a good night.
Bye.
So how was your week, Florence?
Pretty good. I've been a lot more productive this weekend.
Oh yeah, you were drawing stuff.
Been drawing a lot of this weekend. I, for some reason, have like a lot more energy to do that. But let me see. What else have I done this weekend? Oh, I've been watching more Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and personally, I actually do kind of want to see a Boba Fett movie. I just kind of wish that like. If you guys have ever seen like season 4, episode 20, that's like a Boba Fett episode that was really, really cool. Where it's like they were on a heist, kind of like a heist on a train where they were supposed to be delivering this crate to someone, and they got ambushed. It was pretty damn good.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like Boba Fett. Yeah. I mean, then again, like I don't know. I mean, Boba Fett. I think he's just. I mean, even then, he was still kind of a little bit. Not gonna really spoil much, but even then, he was still kind of. Not like. He could hold himself in a fight. It's just that in the last bit of the episode, he still ended up being useless.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Well, you like Boba Fett, Pawn?
You mean, do I like armor?
Do you like Boba Fett?
Sure, I like armor. Sure. Here, I'm gonna send you a cool little link. Sci-fi armor concept art. You can just stare at that all day, and you'll get all the satisfaction you want. Even more so than looking at Boba Fett's armor. There's a lot more armor out there than just his.
Wait, what about Boba Fett as a character?
I don't think Boba Fett is a character.
You don't think he's a character?
Well, no. I mean, a character is more than a face.
But he has a wait. But Boba Fett
got a name too. That's true.
But he has a story though. He has like books written about him.
I gotta cut out, guys.
Okay, I'll see you, Ricardo.
See you, Rico.
All right. So no stream next weekend, right?
Yeah, no stream next weekend.
No stream, right?
Yeah, no stream next weekend.
All right, I'm making plans. Hit me up if you want to do one after that, then.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Nice meeting you, Luke. I don't know. Hope you can enjoy something someday.
I do.
You too. Okay. See you, Ricardo. Okay, so you wait, because you know that like Boba Fett has had videos made. Like I'm sorry, not videos. Sorry, he has books like written for him, like in the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm. I've read a lot of expanded universe books, and I barely remember any of them because they weren't memorable, as they say.
I kind of like
something good's always memorable.
Listen, I always enjoyed the expanded universe actually, like, especially like the Darth Bane book.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what people end up liking isn't the story. It's other stuff and that people associate with the story. But a story isn't visual. It isn't audible. It's pure concept. And you tell it with visuals. You tell it with audio. You tell it with text. And you use tangible things to
Well-
represent the ideas. But the problem is people don't have story ideas when they're writing these books.
Well, maybe people, maybe people in general just, I guess, more, like the characters and the themes more than the story.
People like actors. They like jokes. They like witty comebacks and small talk. They like action. They like lots of things that are totally unrelated to the story, but they call those
They also
things
like the
story.
character. But they also like the characters, though, too.
But this is what happens. I go and I ask everybody all the time, go ahead and tell me the story of Boba Fett. And they'll go, well, dude, you have to experience it. You have to watch it yourself or something. If they ever just describe the concepts of the story, the actual story content, there's nothing there. Or if there is something there, it's so pathetic and embarrassingly inane that they don't even care to repeat it. And I want a story that's great all by itself. I know a story, a real story is great conceptually. You can describe it to somebody conceptually and they'll go, hey, that's awesome. That's great.
So your stories wouldn't go over people's heads.
No.
So it's not like overly complex to the point where, like, it's kind of like Greek to some people.
Nope. I never had any story that was like that.
Okay, I mean, have people read the story?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I haven't written it like that. I haven't written them like novels. I intend to tell them visually.
Oh, visually. So like through slideshows or like
no, like in a video game, except a story is separate from a video game. So I hate to say I'll make them video games. I will release products that include video games and storylines, and the stories will be told visually like a movie, but they won't be 2 hours. They'll be really long.
So basically, you're saying all right. So you're using using a video game gameplay to tell a story, or are you like using like original like animations?
I'll probably have a lot of cutscenes and a lot of animations.
Okay, so in a sense, it's kind of like your Star Wars videos, just with.
No, I'm actually going to have a big production.
Okay, but I mean the concept's kind of same where you're using clips from like say a video game.
In a few years I'm gonna take over the video game industry and make my own video games. And they're gonna have gigantic budgets.
So how about would the story of an incel game sound interesting to you?
An incel game?
Incel, like
pixel.
You know what incel is, right?
I've heard the term. I think it's just something.
It's involuntary celibate. It's basically guys who can't get laid, and they kind of take their anger out on society.
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, anyway, there was a shooting that happened somewhere. I think it was in Canada or somewhere where a guy basically was part of a group of online, like an online group that calls themselves incels, which means involuntary celibate. So it's kind of like the whole Elliot Rodgers, thing. If you heard about that, what happened with the shooting, it's kind of like that basically. And before he went on a shooting spree, he basically praised Elliot Rodgers and kind of said incel rebellion now.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the video game was kind of basically going to be like, what if there was an incel rebellion where you have like a group of like incel terrorists going around like committing acts of terrorism.
Okay. And what about it?
Well, I said, what do you think? Do you think that could make an interesting story?
No, I don't think that way. I don't think of taking a premise or looking at something in the world and saying, make a story out of that. I operate off of inspiration, real inspiration, which I can't even say that without somebody misunderstanding because people don't even know what inspiration is anymore. Everybody thinks that inspiration is when you steal something. You look at something and you go, oh, I'm going to take that and make a story out of it. And inspiration is the opposite. Inspiration is the conception of a new idea. It's an epiphany, a realization where an idea comes to you. So that's what I operate off of. Can you
get inspiration from like an experience that you've had? I mean,
I was about to tell you. I get inspiration. I get new ideas and I make stories out of those. I don't look at anything in the world and copy that.
So what happens if something you create happens to look like something that does exist then?
It couldn't possibly look like it because I'm working off of actual story material, which is conceptual. It has no visuals. It doesn't have any audio. There are no tangible elements of it. A story idea doesn't have people's faces in it. It's movement. It's understanding a plot twist. It's something that happens, and you don't know anybody's ages or what they look like, what they're wearing. That's not story material. So no, to ask what if it looks like something, that well then if it did look like something, and I'm sure my stories will incorporate visuals that look similar to other visuals, it still won't be a similar story because nobody can even avoid having similar visuals. All art mimics the world, doesn't it?
So what you're saying is that you develop a concept and like a concept and story like first rather than start with the characters.
No, the concepts that make up a story are the characters. You can't have a story without characters. So what I get are ideas of events in stories involving people, and those make up the story.
Okay. I know you don't like films, but you do have to admit that at least soundtracks are great, right?
Sure.
Movie soundtracks.
Sure.
Like
there are some really great soundtracks out there.
Yeah, it's very iconic, yeah. And they also seem very, I mean, there are some that imitate them, yes, but I feel like the originals do seem very, the old ones do seem very original. Like John Williams' music seems pretty unique.
Sure.
Depending on the iconic soundtrack, and then Hans Zimmer has his pretty iconic style too, and then
I agree.
Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
That's really, yeah.
Those are probably three of the best soundtracks out there.
So you didn't like Lord of the Rings either?
No, Lord of the Rings has a very generic non-story.
Oh, but how's it generic kind of? Because it's kind of like destroying evil with the One Ring.
Well, even it follows this idea of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. There's an old guy comes along. He says, "Well, are you talking about The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings?"
I'm talking about Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, like the movies.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you got it. You got a big meanie. He's really mean. He likes to hurt people. He likes power. He's a nothing character already. There's nothing there. He's
the big meanie is it's the ring. I mean, the big meanie.
Okay, there you go. A non-character, destructive force. Even if he has a face or a head or an eyeball, and he does, he's got a great big eyeball. That he's still not a character. He's just a destructive force. He's going to hurt people.
Well, the ring is technically. I mean, the ring has a spirit. He is a character. He just doesn't have a physical form.
I could, but you can say those words about anything. I can pick up a rock and say, "Well, these guys just pretend it's a character. It's a character. I'm calling it a character. I'm saying it has a spirit. Therefore, it's a character." But sorry, I'm not convinced by words. I'm convinced by an actual story that I can experience.
Well, the story of Lord of the Rings does say that the ring has the spirit of Sauron inside, like it has Sauron's essence inside it. And and they kind of it's shown throughout the movie that he does inhabit the ring.
Mm-hmm. Well, I need more than just some written words. I need to experience the ideas of the story, and I don't see any, and I don't feel any in Lord of the Rings. I never encountered any.
Wait, what exactly do you mean by experience? Because I feel like I feel like Lord of the Rings movies were conveying what they were trying to get at and stuff.
Well, sure. I mean, it's very simple. It's some people going on a journey. All movies nowadays incorporate the same basic premise. It's usually about survival. Somebody doesn't want to die. Their body's going to get hurt. And they say, "I will get a sword or a gun and I will stop the meanies from hurting my body." And again, that's not a story either. Nobody even, at least in the old days, nobody watched The Walking Dead or all these other TV shows just to watch people survive. The survival element was the catalyst for the story, the character development, the moral dilemmas, and the development of people's principles, their moral values. That was the story, and it's the essence of any story. But for the most part, I mean, people only just they just hint at that kind of thing, and most of it just consists of people fighting, protecting their bodies, and that's not a story. And that's Lord of the Rings. It's people who want to survive. They go on a long journey.
They're going on a long journey to basically save the world.
Right. Well, there you go. More survival.
Okay, I mean, well, how's that? I mean, but how's that not really? But how's that not like a good story? Because
Okay,
kind of
well,
like, it's kind of it harkens. Wait, what?
imagine now that you're out in a desert. Okay, now it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be somebody else's sword that's killing you. Here's just the basic survival premise of wanting to be alive and not dead. Let's imagine you're out in a desert. You're walking around. You're looking for water. Okay, is this a story?
Is it a story? Yeah, it can be a story.
No, it's not a story. And the natural response from people who are desperate, they will say yes to crazy questions. But that is a crazy question. Of course, that's not a story. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows me going and eating a meal or using the bathroom is not a story. Neither is going to get a drink of water.
Well, what about slice of life? Because that is like a genre of fiction where it's basically like, you're basically it's like a story about a person going through life.
Well, I don't know much about it.
Well, it's basically like those stories that are like that don't have anything really fantastical to tell. It's just kind of it's like a person going through life and like having their social experiences with other people. It's almost like a biography, just that it's not like a true story. It's fictional, but it's like set in our world.
Mm-hmm. Well, the story is the transformation of the characters, the mental transformation, the transformation of their beliefs and their values and all of it, their whole worldview. That's the story. So if there's any part that people liked about that, whatever it is you're talking about, no doubt that's the main part. And the survival stuff, it's only secondary.
Well, okay, so you're saying is that for you a good story has the transformation of the characters.
No, that is the story. I don't believe there is such a thing as a bad or a good story. Just stories and non-stories.
Just stories and non-stories, okay. Okay, and you feel like Lord of the Rings is a non-story?
Certainly. I believe everything anybody's ever made is a non-story. Not to say that they don't have insinuations of story content. Just like your whole life, you're going to live a whole life. There are going to be story elements in it. But the large majority of your life is going to be practical actions. You going to work, you eating and sleeping, and doing non-story things. The real story is the interactions with the other people and the development of yourself.
Wait. So you said you're a Christian, right?
Sure.
But okay, so are you saying that the Bible, the Bible isn't telling a story?
It's sure got a lot of story stuff in there, but most of it is historical accounts.
But that's still a story. I mean, a story can be true.
Sure. Well, it's stuff that happened. It's history. I'll call it history. But what I'm talking about, this hypothetical pure story, is it's made up entirely of a specific substance, and it is the character development. And the Bible only has, just like a real life, your own life, it only has parts of that. And I'm talking about a pure story from beginning to end. It is a pure story. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, so okay, I guess I might have asked this question already, but so like, just to clarify, so for you, what is like a real story?
Well, I don't have a definition. I'm not going to prescribe it. The only reason I can say what a real story is because I've discovered it for myself. I've just seen one. So now I'm just describing what I've seen real stories look like. And they all have common elements.
Okay, but so besides what you're working on, have you seen a real story? Have you read or seen a real story?
Never, but I have heard many writers talk about a common process that is used to conceive and fully realize an entire story, but nobody has seen the process through to completion.
Okay, so what movie or book is like the closest thing to like for your true story?
None. There's no such thing. That none of them have even come close. On the contrary, every book, every movie, all the really popular ones usually have one or two little inspirations in them. But the rest of it is filler. It's cliche stuff. It's brainstormed non-story material. So you can say that there are little insinuations of it, but a real story, my own stories, I can say, don't just consist of one little idea, which people like Star Wars plot twist or M. Night Shyamalan's movies with their little inspirations, or all these other movies that are popular because of one or two unique parts that are an idea conceived by the creator. It's their own idea. But I lost my train of thought. But yeah.
That's fine.
I was going to say, they have one or two. A true story is made up entirely of it. We're talking 500 or 700 or 1,000 ideas all in one, so that the story is made up entirely of original ideas. So that's a real story. It's something beyond anything anybody's ever seen. There's nothing that's
Wait.
close to it.
So would you say Dr. Seuss is kind of like that? Because Dr. Seuss has a lot of I mean, a lot of the stuff in Dr. Seuss kind of had like, you know, the characters and all that stuff seem very original.
Well, that's maybe the funniest thing I've ever heard. But no, there's no inspiration in any Dr. Seuss book I've ever read.
Wait, what about all the original names and, you know, the rhyming and stuff?
Names and rhyming are not story material. Nothing
All right.
tangible is story material.
Okay, so like basically say like basically like the, you know, the poem is like, you know, you live in the town of there, your bathroom up here and your bedroom up here and bathroom up there. That's like that to you. That's not like an original story.
No, that's describing the geometry. Geometry isn't story. That's tangible.
Okay. So okay, but you can't really describe what a true story is.
Well, are you asking me personally, or are you saying is it possible?
Well, I just want to know the description. I just want a description just to get some idea
Of a story?
of like, yeah, for you what a good like a true story is. Yeah.
Well, there's no. I would just have to tell a story, but I'm not going to do that. But I can tell you, I can point out some story inspirations in other movies.
Okay.
There are a few of those. Well, every inspiration I've ever gotten, and I've written down all of my inspirations, I've written down over 5,000. They all have certain telltale signs, 3 that are easily definable. One of them is a strong contrast between two dueling things, two dueling principles or beliefs or actions or things
Yeah.
involving a character.
Yeah, like dualism,
Yes,
duality.
duality. Yes, and there's a clash of these two things. So that's one that I always see. Another one is always some kind of deception or misinformation or ignorance on the part of at least 2 parties, and that actually gives rise to the third thing, which is 2 coexisting opposite realities where people are making choices in their lives because of their view of the world, and you know, in a way, all 3 of these things are the same thing. They all give rise to these 2 people clashing over
Yeah,
their
kind of
beliefs.
like it's kind of biblical, kind of where it's like, you know, the duality, like God and the devil, deception, like Luciferian, the whole concept of Lucifer deceiving people.
Well, in a way, maybe, perhaps, yeah. I mean,
That's a theme I get from that. Yeah,
but this deception or the misinformation, it's part of every single story. It's people who are depending on this idea, their preconceived notion, and off of that, and then somebody else has an opposite one. But again, this isn't me prescribing it. This is me just describing the ideas I have for myself and describing the ones that I see in all these other movies, which are always the ones that people end up loving the most. And they also always give rise to a plot twist.
I'm just getting, I just want to get some idea of what you were going with about, this, like what you think is a story.
Well, if you're expecting me to tell you one of my stories, I'm not going to do that, but I'll point out,
because it would take too long.
Well, my story's already been finished yet, but yes, it would take very long.
Okay. But basically but it sounds like what you're saying is when you do get your stories in like video format, it's going to be like blow people's mind, right?
Yes, nobody's going to survive its glory.
Okay.
I was just like wondering, but like, ain't Homestuck like a story or I don't know, but like
what
Homestuck?
Homestuck.
What is that?
And never mind. I don't think you guys might. I tried getting into it, but like, there's just like so much stuff in it that I just can't really explain. I just like completely forgot what it was, and I can't be bothered to go back into it because there's just like thousands and thousands of material to just like go off of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so there. I'm trying to think of like how I'd word this. So if someone writes stuff that is very random, but like, it has wild ideas, would you call that a story?
No, because a real story can't be realized through conscious effort. You cannot
Wait.
conceive a new idea consciously, deliberately, voluntarily. It's always an accident. It's always an inspiration, an epiphany.
Okay. Yeah, like so enlightenment, you mean?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's something coming to you.
Okay.
There will be some kind of external stimulation,
So
but all the
okay,
stimulation does is
so
it makes
okay,
you
I get
see
it.
something
So
where there isn't something before.
okay, so I get. So what you're saying is that essentially for you, writing a story is for you writing an actual story is kind of like an inventor finding like a way to make a light bulb, or like a guy learning how to like make a sword. You know, just getting those random like light. What do they call it? Like lightning bolts of creativity or something like that.
Right. Right. Exactly. It's sporadic. It happens over a very long period of time, years and years. It's been over a decade. My stories aren't finished, but they're awesome. And I know they will be finished eventually
Okay.
because, yeah.
So, okay, so basically for you, it's like, no, I get it. So for you, storytelling as you see it, what people are doing today and stuff, it's kind of like how, like, Albert Einstein made the theory of relativity, like he came up with this theory and stuff, in science.
Mm-hmm.
And, he created this idea, and lots of scientists today are mainly just following what he created, and they aren't really making anything new. Like a lot of people love Neil deGrasse Tyson, even though he hasn't really discovered or really done anything noteworthy as a physicist. So for you, it's kind of like your view of how people like make movies and write stories are kind of like that, where it's like some people come up with some original ideas, but then people tend to just copy previous ideas.
Well,
Not have anything new.
the problem is they aren't even copying inspirations because there are so few inspirations that have been realized in history. So really, they're just copying the mundane, non-story aspects of life, like survival. That's what most of
Yeah,
them are doing.
it might also have to do with the idea either the fear of scrutiny or just their own personal beliefs getting in the way of using those ideas.
I'd say it's any conscious thought whatsoever. That's what gets in their way.
Okay.
Any agenda, any thought of this is what I want.
So for you, would you say like a good practice would be to just like clear your mind of everything?
Absolutely. To be completely.
Okay, so meditate, yeah.
No, not meditate, because the ideas won't come to you that way. It's more that when you get an idea, you have to make no assumptions about it whatsoever. You have to not visualize it, because visualizing it will destroy your subconscious vision. And you have to wait for the ideas to connect to each other.
So doing a Jedi is not the way of doing it with meditating. It's like clear your mind.
No, that's brainstorming.
Oh, so wait. So meditating doesn't clear your mind, you're saying?
Well, no, I'm saying meditating doesn't enable you to conceive ideas.
Oh, because what, meditating closes your mind off?
No, it's thinking.
Okay, that's weird because most people just make it seem like, oh, I'm going to meditate to clear my mind and I don't know, get some idea or something. Yeah.
I've never invented a new idea deliberately. I don't think anybody can. If you ever meet somebody who can, send them to me. They're probably a better storyteller than I am.
Okay. But okay, so basically basically getting a new idea is just random. You can't think about it for you.
Right.
Okay.
And that's one of the problems with these people is that even when they do get their ideas, and I'm sure they do conceive new ideas, they destroy it when they brainstorm because they connect 1,000 brainstorm non-story ideas and they destroy it.
Would I be correct in saying that you would be unable to join a writers group just because you would piss everyone off eventually?
Right. Writers are wasting their time. If there were a writer who was telling real stories, then his stories would be taken over the world. But instead, all these writers, they always have tiny audiences. They are self-loathing. They are their own biggest critics, as they will always say.
Well,
they don't fall more in love with their stories over time. They actually get tired of them. They get bored. They want to move on to something else. That just tells me these people are miserable.
I mean, you could say that like, okay. Well, I mean, Harry Potter doesn't have very many original ideas, but it kind of did take over a good chunk of the world. I mean, it got really popular though.
Well, I've never watched it, so I
know that,
proof against it.
You are aware that it's pretty popular, right? Like it's a huge sensation among lots of people.
It's no more. Is it bigger than Star Wars?
It actually kind of It's either around the. It might be a little tiny bit bigger, or maybe just around somewhere in terms of like how many people who read the books and stuff. Maybe I mean
Harry
it's
Potter,
kind
Star
of
Wars.
Harry Potter kind of like the millennials version, like the millennials version of Star Wars. Like, you know, because everyone who was born in like the 90s and like late 80s grew up on Harry Potter. Like all my friends, we read Harry Potter, watched the films and stuff. So.
Sure, I'll accept that comparison. But there are
It is a
1,000
pretty huge
Harry
cultural
Potters
impact,
and Star Warses and Lord of the Rings and other ones, and I'm not impressed by their fan bases. I think they're tiny, just like I'm not impressed by the fan base of any so-called video game ever made.
Like even so, like, even though you can find fans all across the world, that's not impressive.
Well, yeah, they're spread out. They're spread out, but see, the world has 7 billion inhabitants.
Yeah.
And the fan bases of these things are always it's tiny number every time, tiny fraction.
Okay, so basically, if you were so do you feel like your stories are like a true story or actually
Sure.
like, you know, like an actual like for you an actual story by what you've been saying?
Yes.
So
And you
you're
would,
saying,
I'm sure you would just call them the best stories. I'm sure that's what people will say someday, but I'm not going to say that because yeah, we'll go ahead.
so essentially you think so when your stories you plan to release all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when your stories get released, so what you're saying essentially is your stories being released is kind of this similar to when like Jesus Christ began performing miracles and everyone began to gravitate towards them. He kind of
Well,
brought forth the entirely.
I won't be sacrilegious, but I am sure.
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Basically, is in the sense your stories, it sounds like your stories would have an impact upon the fictional, like the fiction writing industry, the same way, in sense, like Jesus had impact on religion.
I expect it to change the world forever. I know it will, and I have the proof for myself because of what it did to me. Because I used to be as much of a fan of all these movies as everybody else, maybe even more so when it came to video games. I've never met somebody who was a bigger gamer than I was, and I've abandoned all of them because I have discovered the ultimate stories and the ultimate games.
So, like, when did this happen?
About 10 years ago.
10 years ago. So like, what? So why did you make the Star Wars movies? I mean, the Star Wars videos.
I made the Force Awakens review to get money, and I did get money. I got like $2,000 from it.
Okay, and what about Work One?
People were begging me to do it. I had a bunch of fans. I thought, hey, I can get money if I release it right around Star Wars. But
okay, so it wasn't due to passion, really.
No, none whatsoever. I don't think. I think people are.
Oh, should I? Sorry, do you want me to take the? Sorry, should I have taken this off here? Ray said that.
Oh my goodness. Oh, who cares?
Okay,
Bring them to me. Hey, you know what? They can talk to me next week if they want.
Okay. Okay, I'm saying your fans, like, if they get mad at you, think, oh, you just like cheated them or something. You feel like
they aren't even real fans. You know, to be a fan, you have to love something.
Okay.
I've never met somebody who loved Star Wars.
Okay, well, well. I mean, I do feel this is an interesting conversation, and the idea that a lot of people tend to. It's just kind of weird that you've gotten away. Sorry, you no longer hold really any value in being like a fan of something or a geek and stuff, which is really interesting given how very fans oriented our like culture when it comes to storytelling is.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I mean, it's like, there's so many fans everywhere now of different stuff, like Harry Potter fans. Like, there's just so many fans everywhere. And, like, it seems like our culture has kind of embraced it where something popular comes out, you either are a fan or a hater, you know what I mean? Or, you gravitate towards some fandom one way or another if, when you get into, like, something that's geeky and stuff. But for you, it's like you've kind of become, like, an X fan, you would say.
Right. I wanna show people how to make stories. I'm confident when people figure out how to make stories, then they will stop depending on other people to make stories, which is what I said at the end of my Rogue One review. All I can do right now is drop little subtle hints before I take my first steps to take over.
Yeah.
And until then, I have to be really patient.
Just be clear. Wait, sorry. Before I'll let you speak, Florence. Just one thing. So, I mean, just be clear. So if your stories do indeed take over the world and stuff, you want to like make it so people can't do like the old way of doing stories, right?
Well,
Like you want like
people can go ahead and write stuff all they want, but I think there will be a tiny number who are even interested in doing that anymore, and all the
Okay.
consumers won't be interested in buying it anymore. So a lot of companies will go out of business.
Okay. So as in we shouldn't be surprised if like a news story pops up that you got like shot or got into a mysterious accident.
I am probably going to get killed.
Okay. Okay. Hey, if it's from someone who published some of my novels, then please don't hate me in the afterlife.
It's okay. I'm sure we'll be good friends before and after I release the stories because
Okay.
I'll be on YouTube.
So they're all gonna be I mean, aren't you worried about not getting? I mean, so you're not worried about like potentially not getting paid for publishing them, right? Because I mean, see, it's like if you post them on YouTube, can you still get the
No,
you
I'm
know,
not
get
posting
the
the
rights?
stories. I'm not posting the stories on YouTube. I'm making video games. I'm a game developer.
Oh, so you're making a video game. That's okay. That's all right. I thought you were making like a YouTube video that uses video games
Nope.
graphics. Okay. Okay, so this is actually an original video game.
Correct.
And you're actually like developing like the sprites and all that stuff.
No. Like I said, I'm going to have a giant production to do it.
Oh, so you've hired people already?
No, well, right, exactly. No, I'm going to.
Okay, but you're going to hire people to develop the game.
Yep, in a few years.
Well, since it's a video game and not a novel, I mean, the video game industry might take over the video game industry, but I mean, the novels might still remain the same depending on how it goes, because that's normally what tends to happen is like it takes a while for the others to follow suit.
Well, I don't expect
different type of money, different types of money going around.
I don't think they're going to follow suit because even for me, even though I'm in the mindset, I know how to make stories. It still takes me 10 years, more than 10 years. It's been 10 years and my stories aren't finished. So in order for the companies to even compete with me, they would have to wait 10 or 15 years to make their own stories. And they're not going to do that. So I don't expect to have any competition.
Yeah, I guess you do have a point there. So, well, if you make lots of money, who cares? If like people don't follow suit, right?
Well, I actually look forward to crushing them. Yeah, I think they deserve to be crushed.
Because
Especially
if they don't follow suit, then no harm lost. Your story still got published.
Well,
sure.
No. I only need one person to publish it. I one company. I don't depend on any of the others.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying is that if they like say don't take over the world just because there's always that idea where it was too big for people at the time. You know what I mean? There are lots of stories that come out where people just didn't really care about them at the time, but then later on, people like love them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
They got okay. Because some people just don't get stuff initially.
They'll get it.
Okay.
I think it's it's the writers who make complicated books.
Well, you never know. It depends on. People are getting really stupid nowadays. So I mean, well, by the time you finish, everyone's intelligence might have gone even stupider that they can't appreciate it.
I don't think so. I think everything good is always appreciated by people automatically.
So you're saying that with your stories, even if people become really unintelligent, they could still enjoy the story?
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds like Shakespeare kind of like, because Shakespeare was popular because he was able to he kind of was able to get both the nobility and the lower class to enjoy his plays.
Well, Shakespeare does a whole lot of talking, long monologues, but he's not describing.
He is a playwright, so
yeah,
that's what most of them are going to do.
He's no more. Anyway, yeah. Well, yes. Should we go ahead and wrap this up? Is that what you're saying?
What is that?
No. We got more time.
We still got a few more minutes. But what were you about to say, Florence? Go ahead.
I was actually going to ask what the name of his channel was.
You really shouldn't care because my YouTube channel doesn't have any content on it besides those reviews and a few other silly things I've made. But in the coming
kinda
months, I'm going to release a 6-hour seminar that's going to change the world, and it will be released to YouTube. I've been writing it for
It'll
4
be
years.
on your channel, right?
Yep. My channel is Pon Story Games. PON Story Games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You kind of when you describe what you're doing, it's kind of like it's a little bit tiny bit like Jordan B. Peterson, just with kind of with a bit of the opposite with the conclusion. Like with Jordan B. Peterson, he kind of looks at all these different things and like shows how they're connected and how that's a good thing. But with you, it's kind of the opposite, where you see all the things being connected and kind of how similar they are, but you don't view that as a great thing, right?
No, well, I can still look at the good insinuations. I haven't done that with you at all right now, but I could look at the movies and say, hey, you know why you guys like this movie so much? And usually when somebody likes a movie, it's because of one or two big parts, and those parts are always good parts. Those are inspiration moments. So yeah, I could say, look at all these insinuations. Look, they all do have these common threads, and a real story is just this material, nonstop.
So would you so would you call yourself like a cynic, a skeptic, or like a nihilist?
I'm not a nihilist at all.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I'm very optimistic.
It matters to you. So yeah, but yeah, basically this stuff matters to you, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So are you like a cynic or a skeptic then?
Well, I associate being a cynic with being a critic, and I'm not a critic. Making the Star Wars, I don't want to make Star Wars reviews. That's the most boring thing ever. I'll talk about game design. I'm very critical of game design because game design is the opposite of storytelling in a way. It's scientific. It's not dependent on epiphanies.
Okay.
You have to figure it out by studying it.
Well, so when I say skeptic, I'm not meaning like an atheist, but like skeptic as in being skeptical of things. Like, would you call yourself a skeptic then with all this, or nah?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's even referring to.
Well, skeptics is kind of like, I mean, there are skeptics who are atheists, who don't believe in religion. They call themselves skeptics, but then there's also skeptics, like, I like to use the term skeptic in the way of like, you question things. Like say someone tries to sell you an ideology, you are skeptical of that and try to like look at the facts or, put the ideology under a microscope to see if it holds up.
Sure, I do that. I do that with some things.
But with the storytelling stuff, would you call yourself that, or that wouldn't?
Only in the philosophy of creating them, not the movies themselves.
Oh, okay. Okay, because would you also say like maybe you're an idealist in a weird sense? Because I know idealist people think, they like everything, but for you it seems like idealism could mean I like thinking of something better.
Sure, totally.
Yeah,
so I'm an innovator. I'm a visionary.
Okay, so that's a visionary. So you consider yourself a visionary.
Certainly.
That can rub a lot of people the wrong way.
Yep, and a lot of people are going to think I'm really, really arrogant, and a lot of people do until they see what I've got, and then they're going to say, this is actually the greatest.
So are you in a relationship? Just curious.
No, but I've had plenty of girls offer.
Oh, okay. So you feel like that would like, with how you like your personality would like be detrimental to that and stuff?
No, I don't think that at all, because I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm actually just being hard-nosed right now because I guess I've a man has his limits. I can only hear about comic books so much before I start to go, okay, let's just say it like it is. I've had a lot of conversations with people. I've had debates with hundreds of people live and in text, and it's been going on for the last 8 years or so. So excuse me if I sound like I'm some kind of autistic narcissist.
I think the only person you might have annoyed was Rax, but I think he was just playing along and stuff. You're having some jokes and stuff. Mm-hmm. But no, this is pretty interesting that you're talking about this, because it's very different than I was expecting. I was expecting you to actually be a very, I don't know, like a very geeky guy who has a lot of fan love of things.
My.
Well, yeah, I mean, just when you talk about Star Wars, you did give off the impression that you you seemed like a very passionate. I just thought you sounded like you were a very passionate Star Wars fan.
I was a big Star Wars fan. I know everything about Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just thought you would still be. I just wasn't expecting you to be like, yeah, this and stuff.
Nope. No, I want people to forget about it. I want people to be done with it. But you can't convince somebody to stop watching any of these movies. You can't effectively boycott anything unless you offer an objectively better replacement.
Okay, so you're saying do you want people to forget about these stories?
I want people to, well, I don't consider them stories. I want people to have the ultimate stories and the ultimate games, and I just recognize that as an immediate byproduct of the existence of those real stories, people will forget about their previous things. That's just the nature of innovation.
Okay, but you don't want people to forget about them. You just say they might or will forget about them.
What I want is more focused on the people who make the worthless trash, not so much on the people consuming it. I feel sorry for the people consuming it. I more just want, especially the so-called game developers, to go out of business because they are pure evil.
Okay, so even people like Rockstar, who makes Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, especially them. How about that?
Oh, because yeah, I actually really like Grand Theft Auto.
But not really. I don't have any vendetta against them specifically. They're no differently from any other developer.
So, what was your opinions on Gamergate then?
I don't think I have any. That's a social thing. I don't do social commentary.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay, so you just want the game developers to go out of business because you just don't think that they're producing like a good game or a good story.
They aren't making stories or games. And they're just incompetent. They're deceptive. Every method they've ever used to garner critical acclaim has relied on deception. And people will see what I mean by that in the seminar.
Well, Grand Theft Auto, I mean, there's a story, but most people like the game just because, you can go around and commit crimes and stuff and jack cars. It's
Billy,
a crime simulator. Yeah.
How much more time do you have to discuss this? Because if we're going to get into game design, that'll be a long debate.
Okay. Yeah, I probably should cut it now and stuff anyway. But maybe sometime in the future after I get settled in with my move.
Very good.
Probably have it be a separate stream, not one of the annual streams, just like a stream on the side.
Uh-huh.
Seems like it'd be better with a one-on-one thing rather than a group.
Sure. Well, whatever you want. Maybe you could inform them that you're going to have a one-on-one and let them come in and ask questions too.
Yeah. I mean, right now I have low subscriber numbers, so it might be a little while before I get enough views for a stream.
So be it.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, guys, you guys can like and subscribe to my channel, Florence, and
On
what's
Story.
On Story Game. Although, like you said, it's not, he doesn't upload very consistently, right?
Right. Well, I'm not looking for any subscribers until I release my seminar.
Yeah, so it might be a little while. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll be sure to give an update or release a new stream when I have the time to after my moving process is done. This is Billy the Conqueror.